Chapter 1349. To be honest, Qin Feng did not want to bring Hua Xiaojin to the horseman gang's base. This woman was just an ordinary weak woman. Moreover, he was severely injured. If a fight broke out, he would have to take care of Hua Xiaojin's safety. However, Hua Xiaojin was unwilling to leave. She still believed that she would definitely die. Since young Master Qiao insisted on going, Hua Xiaojin would follow him even if she knew she would die. Young Master Qiao, please don't say that. I'm your servant now, and I don't want to serve other people anymore. Please don't abandon me. I'll serve you with all my heart. Hua Xiaojin was about to cry as she spoke. Qin Feng was somewhat speechless, but he also felt a trace of pity for her. He hugged her tighter and said, "Don't be afraid, I'll protect you." Qin Feng sped up after he finished speaking. He was filled with anger, and he was going to kill everyone in the horseman gang's base. Hua Xiaojin was so touched that she was about to melt in Qin Feng's arms. She had been a lowly servant for more than 10 years. In the past, she was beaten and scolded by her master whenever she did something wrong. Before she met young Master Qiao, she would never have thought that her master would take the initiative to protect a lowly servant. Nay, a horse neighed, and Flaming Dragon reared its front hooves. If Qin Feng did not hug Hua Xiaojin tightly, she would have been thrown off the horse. In front of them was a hilltop, and there were dozens of strong men guarding it. When they saw Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojin, dozens of fierce horses rushed down from the hillside. Who dares to trespass the horseman gang's territory? Are you seeking death? The second elder is back. What's going on? The bandits who came down from the hilltop were dumbfounded. They surrounded Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojin, but they did not dare to act recklessly. After waiting for 5 to 6 minutes, Ma Long and his men finally arrived at the foot of the hill. As soon as he jumped down from his horse, the black horse knelt on the ground. It was exhausted to death. Ma Long was enraged. He felt that Qin Feng had slapped him in the face. He walked over with his saber in hand. "You stinking brat! Are you trying to show me that your horse is faster? Do you believe that I won't kill you with my saber?" The roar was like thunder, scaring the bandits into taking a few steps back. Hua Xiaojin screamed in fright, but she braced herself and stood in front of Qin Feng. Qin Feng's expression did not change as he said indifferently, "If you kill me, don't even think about getting the rest of the money." The saber finally stopped hovering above Qin Feng's head. Ma Long was so angry that his nostrils flared. At this time, another group of people came down from the mountain. Among them was a long-haired man with a red cloak. "Second brother, what's going on?" The man seemed to have landed at the bottom of the mountain from the waist of the mountain in just a few leaps. When Ma Long saw the man, he immediately became respectful. "Big brother, I went to Hua village and caught the girl that you were interested in." The long-haired man in the red cloak was the leader of the horseshoe gang Ma Qing. When he saw Hua Xiaojin, his eyes lit up and he was about to pounce on her, strip her naked, and start a fight. However, when he saw Qin Feng, he was stunned. "Where did this brat come from? You dare to touch the woman that I like. You're courting death." When he saw Hua Xiaojin lying in Qin Feng's arms, Ma Qing's expression became ruthless. He immediately drew his saber and swung it down. However, a loud sound rang in the air. Ma Qing's domineering saber was blocked by Ma Long. "Ma Long, are you rebelling?" Ma Qing was stunned and stared at Ma Long in disbelief. Ma Long broke out in a cold sweat and quickly explained, "What are you talking about, big brother? Why would I rebel? I can't kill this brat now. He has a lot of money." Ma Qing's expression changed a few times, but he was still angry. "Humph. So what if he has money? If the leader of the horseshoe gang wants to kill someone, why would he care if he has money or not? Do you think the horseshoe gang is beggar? Do you think I don't give you enough money?" After being scolded by Ma Qing, Ma Long felt sullen, but he didn't dare to show it. In the entire horseshoe gang, only Ma Qing had stepped into the second stage of true qi. Ma Long knew that he couldn't win against his big brother. "Big brother, don't be angry. Listen to me explain the situation in detail." As Ma Long spoke, he quickly took out a dozen or so gold bars from his bosom. They had taken them from Qin Feng. Instantly, cries of surprise came from the bottom of the mountain. The 50 or so horseshoe gang members gathered around were all dumbfounded. They usually killed, burned, and looted, and they had earned a lot of money. However, things like gold bars were precious. Even these mountain bandits rarely saw them. Ma Qing's pupils constricted, and his voice trembled. Where did these gold bars come from? Could it be that they were found on that brat? Ma Qing's guess shocked everyone. A person carrying a dozen or so gold bars on him. How rich was this guy? Big brother, they were found on that brat. If he wasn't so rich, how would I dare to block Big Brother's knife? Ma Long quickly said. Ma Qing finally understood, and the anger on his face dissipated. He suddenly looked at Qin Feng with a sneer. Stinking brat, you're really rich. How much more money do you have hidden outside? Qin Feng had been secretly investigating the Horseshoe Gang's terrain. He found that the Horseshoe Gang was located in a barren mountain, and he couldn't see any houses around it. This was exactly what he wanted, and he was ready to make a move at any time. I have a lot of property, and I'm as rich as a country. Do you want it? Qin Feng looked at Ma Qing with a smile. The eyes of the mountain bandits lit up. Ma Qing shouted excitedly. Where did you put your property? As long as you give me all your money, I promise to spare your life. As for that woman, I won't play with her anymore. I'll give her to you. Ma Qing began to throw out all kinds of bait. Qin Feng laughed inwardly. Was he trying to trick him like he was a 3-year-old? Young Master Qiao, don't believe them. These mountain bandits are the most untrustworthy. Hua Xiaojun saw through the scam, and couldn't help but warn Qin Feng. Ma Qing was instantly enraged. He glared at Hua Xiaojun and roared. You bitch, do you believe that I'll strip you naked if you keep talking? Hua Xiaojun was so scared that she cried. She hid behind Qin Feng, feeling wronged. A wave of anger surged from Qin Feng's heart, as if it was going to burn him up. You ant-like trash, how dare you speak disrespectfully to my people? Kneel and kowtow to admit your mistake, or else I'll teach you a lesson. Qin Feng suddenly roared angrily, stunning the crowd. Even Hua Xiaojun was stunned. She looked at Qin Feng in a daze, and felt that young Master Qiao had suddenly changed into a different person. The Horseshoe Gang finally came to their senses with great difficulty, and they immediately burst into an uproar. The 50 or so people gathered around all drew their long sabers from their waists. The cold light flickered, and it was so bright that Hua Xiaojun couldn't open her eyes. Brat, how can you speak to the leader like that? Do you want to die? Leader, don't talk nonsense with this brat. If he's not willing to hand over his property, we'll chop off his hands and feet, cut off his flesh piece by piece, and make him wish he was dead. Let's see if he'll still talk then. These bandits were vicious, and their words scared Hua Xiaojun so much that she trembled. However, a muffled sound suddenly came from the noisy crowd. Qin Feng unleashed his full strength and threw a punch, sending a row of bandits flying more than 10 meters away. The others were shocked, and they quickly came to their senses. They brandished their large sabers and slashed at Qin Feng. Motherfucker, you're courting death, brat. The scene of more than 40 bandits moving at the same time was spectacular enough, and Hua Xiaojun was so scared that she couldn't move. However, she heard the wind whistling beside her ears. She didn't know when, but Qin Feng had thrown her onto the fire dragon horse. The fierce horse galloped into the distance. When Hua Xiaojun came to her senses, she found that young Master Qiao was in deep danger alone. Brat, let's see where you can run to now. Qin Feng's current strength was too weak. He had just sent Hua Xiaojun away when Ma Qing appeared in the air behind him. The large saber in his hand flickered, and he was about to slash Qin Feng. Rumble! However, at this moment, a loud explosion sounded, and the berserk true energy shocked the crowd. A golden light seemed to descend from the sky and landed behind Ma Qing. Ma Qing's expression changed greatly, and when he wanted to turn his head to look, his entire body suddenly exploded in midair. Bang bang bang. The sound of explosions rang out continuously, and the smell of blood wafted through the air. The group of bandits suddenly stopped, and their eyeballs and jaws dropped to the ground. That was their great master, a powerful expert at the second level of true energy. Yet he exploded in midair for no reason, and dispersed like fireworks. Ma Qing didn't explode by himself. He was killed by the Golden Fur Lion King's saber. However, the Golden Fur Lion King's speed was too fast, and the group of true energy level 1 bandits didn't even notice his appearance. "Ah, when did you come out, old man? Old fart, hurry up and scram. There's going to be murder here. Do you want to die too? Great Master has been killed. Brothers, don't talk nonsense. Let's chop this brat into pieces and avenge the Great Master." Ma Long roared angrily. Looking at the sinister and sorrowful expression on his face, he was actually overjoyed. Now that the Great Master was dead, didn't that mean that he, Ma Long, had become the Great Master? The entire Horseshoe Gang was under his control. As for how Ma Qing died, Ma Long didn't think of Qin Feng and the Golden Fur Lion King at all. He thought that his elder brother's cultivation was incorrect, and it caused his body to explode. A bunch of ants dare to behave atrociously in front of this old man. The Golden Fur Lion King stood in front of Qin Feng with his saber, like a towering mountain. Looking at the 20 or so bandits pouncing towards him, the Golden Fur Lion King didn't move at all. He casually waved the Dragon Slayer saber in his hand, and immediately drew out 100-meter-long golden saber chi. The loud sound shook the entire valley. The long saber fell to the ground, and a deep ravine appeared in the ground within 100 meters. The group of bandits were instantly smashed into pieces by the explosion, and they didn't even understand the situation before they died. With this saber, the Golden Fur Lion King killed 6 powerful experts at the first level of true energy. The remaining bandits were stunned on the spot, and their expressions were that of seeing a ghost. Rumble. However, at this moment, an even louder muffled sound exploded. The Horseshoe Gang's mountain peak seemed to have been hit by something. The half-tall mountain peak shook violently, and it felt like the entire mountain peak was about to collapse. Chapter 1350. The bandits of the Horseman Gang were dumbfounded. They stared stupidly at the fiery red cannon on Qin Feng's shoulder. They really couldn't figure out what kind of weapon this was. Was it really convenient to use a big and round one? Rumble. While they were dumbfounded, Qin Feng proved the power of the fire cloud cannon. 3 fiery red cannonballs whizzed out and ignited a violent flame in the air. They were like 3 small suns that slowly rose and landed on the Horseman Gang's mountain. Immediately, a loud noise shook the heavens and the mountain exploded. It was like the prelude to the end of the world. Suddenly, dozens of black figures jumped out from the mountain. The bandits were resting in the cave and were frightened by this violent movement. "Big boss, what's going on?" The bandits that came out later didn't understand the situation and heard the other bandits yell. "Big boss is dead. Someone is attacking the Horseman Gang. Quickly come and help." The group of bandits was shocked. There was someone in the Hua family village who dared to attack the Horseman Gang? Even the bailiffs of the Yamen didn't dare to come. Was this person tired of living? "Where's second boss? Who's causing trouble?" Someone yelled again. "Second boss is also dead. Brothers, don't talk nonsense and quickly kill those 2 fellows." The mountain bandits were extremely depressed. Both the first leader and the second leader were dead? Aren't these troublemakers too fierce? However, the bandits that came out later relied on their numbers and simply didn't put Golden Fur Lion King in their eyes. Suddenly, 5 black figures appeared in the air. The 5 bandits already arrived on top of Golden Fur Lion King's head, and the broadswords in their hands were about to fall. Rumble. A loud noise exploded. Golden Fur Lion King's expression was cold. He didn't even look at the people in the air, and slashed horizontally with his broadsword. Instantly, it was as if the sky was falling and the earth was splitting. Before the sneers on the 5 bandits' faces could fade, their bodies had already exploded into bloody foam. The dozens of bandits that rushed over were suddenly stunned. They grabbed their broadswords and stood stupidly at the bottom of the mountain. They were truly scared silly by Golden Fur Lion King's strength. Where did this madman come from? He killed 5 level 1 true chi experts with 1 slash? Could he be an expert from the Holy Gate? Lion King, be careful. While the mountain bandits were still in a daze, Qin Feng yelled. The Golden Fur Lion King hurriedly leaped up and instantly retreated to the empty space 100 meters away. The bandits of the Horseman Gang still didn't understand what was going on. How powerful was the golden-haired elder? Why did he suddenly run away? They saw that Qin Feng was carrying a fiery red cannon on his shoulder, but none of the bandits could recognize what it was. How could such a clumsy toy be used as a weapon? I'd be damned if I could kill someone. Where did this stupid bastard come from? How dare he behave atrociously in the horseman's territory? Brothers, let's kill this bastard together. Everyone came to their senses. They were afraid of the Golden Fur Lion King's might, but they didn't put Qin Feng in their eyes. Instantly, a dozen or so black shadows flew over and landed in front of Qin Feng in a breath's time. More than a dozen large sabers slashed down. The saber shadows were as dense as a net, setting off a violent saber wind. Rumble. Originally, Qin Feng wanted to stand still and look like a heroic hero of the generation. However, he couldn't help but take a step back. The recoil of the fire cloud cannon was too strong, and he couldn't withstand it with his current strength. The huge red cannonball shot out, leaving behind 100-meter-long fire dragon Qi in the void. The dozen or so mountain bandits didn't even have a chance to react before they were devoured by the fiery dragon. The fire cloud cannon landed at the bottom of the mountain, causing the ground to shake violently. The remaining 50 or so mountain bandits were scared silly, as if they had seen a ghost. Fuck. What kind of weapon is that? Why is it so powerful? Could it be the Scarlet Demon Red equipment? It really is the legendary godly weapon. Everyone run for your lives. This group of people who lived in a desolate place had never seen the advanced technology of the outside world, let alone the upgraded version of the star technology in Qin Feng's hands. Seeing that the fire cloud cannon was completely red, they actually mistook it for the Scarlet Demon Red equipment. Qin Feng sneered in his heart. He looked at the bandits who had already started to cover their heads and flee like rats. He didn't plan to stop here. The fire cloud cannon fired again. In an instant it exploded on the mountain peak. Debris and sparks fell from the sky, and many mountain bandits were buried in the ruins. After 5 consecutive fire cloud cannons were fired, Qin Feng didn't buy any more ammunition. One fire cloud rock cost 50,000 Hedonist points, and he could only fire 5 bullets. Qin Feng was completely infuriated by the mountain bandits' disrespect towards Hua Xiaozhen. Otherwise, he wouldn't have wasted his Hedonist points to eliminate a group of mountain bandits. Qin Feng put away the fire cloud cannon, and another loud explosion sounded in the air. 6 clouds of black mist suddenly walked on the mountain peak, as if it had become a mountain of demons. The 5 kings of Verdant Sect and the Ghost Face Evil Reverend had their golden ghost head talismans activated. The 6 of them were experts in the true Qi realm, so they could kill the mountain bandits in half a cup of tea's time. The surrounding noise gradually subsided, and the black mist dispersed. The Golden Fur Lion King was also recalled into the system. It was as if nothing had happened. However, the ruins and the scene of blood flowing like a river indicated that a great battle had just taken place here. The Horseman Gang, which had been tyrannical in the Hua village for 3 to 4 years, was completely annihilated just like that. They were bandits that even the local yamen couldn't eliminate, but Qin Feng single-handedly eradicated them. A few gusts of wind blew, but the smell of blood was still somewhat strong in the air. Suddenly, Hua Xiaozhen's voice came from behind. "Young Master Qiao, sob, young Master Qiao." Qin Feng hurriedly ran down the mountain. He clearly told Flaming Dragon Horse to take Hua Xiaozhen to hide. So why did this girl run back? He saw that Hua Xiaozhen had returned alone. Her silk dress was in tatters, and her originally fair face had a few bloody scratches. She held a wooden stick in her hand as she limped up the mountain. "Xiaozhen, who injured you like this?" Qin Feng rushed over to support her. Hua Xiaozhen was stunned at first, then she fell into Qin Feng's arms. Sob, young Master Qiao. I thought you were dead. Sob, I was so scared. Qin Feng lightly patted her jade back and comforted her. Don't worry, I've already eliminated the Horseman Gang. No one will force you in the future. Hua Xiaozhen was so scared that she stopped crying. She looked towards the top of the mountain, and her body trembled again. The ground was covered in blood and minced meat. The Horseman Gang's mountain was even razed to the ground? This. Hua Xiaozhen was so shocked that she couldn't speak. She was a servant girl of the poor, so she couldn't understand what had happened here. Qin Feng couldn't explain, so he changed the topic. That's right, why did you come back by yourself? Where's Flaming Dragon Horse? Hua Xiaojun suddenly became nervous and carefully said, "Young Master Qiao, it's this lowly servant's fault." This lowly servant was worried about young Master Qiao's safety and jumped off the horse halfway. That Fergana horse might have gotten lost. Sob sob, please punish this lowly servant severely, young Master Qiao. Hua Xiaojun had heard Ma Long tell her about flaming dragon horse's value. It wasn't something that could be bought with dozens of gold bars. As a pauper, Hua Xiaojun couldn't even earn a single gold coin in her entire life. Now that she had lost young Master Qiao's Fergana horse, she wanted to bang her head against the wall and die. Great waves surged in Qin Feng's heart. He finally understood how this woman's injuries came about. The flaming dragon horse was so fast that even Qin Feng didn't dare to casually jump off its back. Hua Xiaojun, a weak woman, had fallen off the horse, yet she endured the pain and walked all the way back to the mountain top. Qin Feng was truly warmed by this woman's foolish thoughts. Xiaojun, don't cry. That horse wasn't lost. Don't do this kind of stupid thing in the future. What if you fall off and something bad happens? Qin Feng had already taken out a bottle of healing powder from the emerald spirit ring and carefully applied it to Hua Xiaojun's wounds. Hua Xiaojun's delicate body trembled, and she didn't dare to move. At this moment, she was so touched that she wanted to cry again. Young Master Qiao was the best master she had ever met. She couldn't wait to give her entire life to Qin Feng. Flaming Dragon Horse ran back by itself. When it discovered that Hua Xiaojun had gotten lost, it also felt depressed. Qin Feng carried Hua Xiaojun and jumped onto the horse's back. He casually shot out a few balls of fire of destruction, burning the top of the mountain to nothing. Although he was currently unable to circulate his true qi, the fire of destruction was the 10,000 beast true fire, and didn't rely on true qi to activate it. However, Qin Feng previously used the divine skill interface to fuse the wind blade and the fire of destruction into the fire blade godly skill. Now he couldn't use it because the wind blade required true qi to activate. This round trip took up a lot of time. It was already afternoon, and the villagers of Hua family village were restless the whole day. Today they didn't even do any work. They all gathered at the entrance of the village and chatted intensely. "Do you guys think the horseman gang's bandits will deal with us?" An old man sighed while smoking his pipe. Everyone's faces were a bit nervous. Zhou Hai said, "I already told Zhou Dafei to inform them. This time we made a contribution. I believe those bandits won't make things difficult for us." Zhou Dafei was kicked unconscious by Qin Feng in the morning, and he still hadn't woken up. Someone else said, "I think what Uncle Zhou said is reasonable. Now that Hua Xiaojun is serving those bandits, she can be considered a member of the horseman gang. And that girl is also from Hua family village. The horseman gang's bandits will more or less give us some face. Humph. Who knows if that slut Hua Xiaojun will obey. Does that girl really think she's a young miss? She sneakily ran away before. This time, if she runs away or commits suicide, we're all finished." The crowd discussed, but no one was sure. Seeing that the sky was getting darker and darker, everyone didn't even have the mood to finish their meal. However, at this time, they heard the sound of horse hooves rushing over. Everyone's expression changed drastically, and they all stood up to look into the distance. There seems to be the sound of horses. Could it be the horseman gang? There's only one horse. That's Hua Xiaojun, and that young Master Qiao. Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. That wild man offended the horseman gang, and should have been torn apart by 5 horses. How could he bring Hua Xiaojun back? The villagers all looked like they had seen a ghost. Some people continuously rubbed their eyes until they were about to explode, but the scene in front of them didn't change. Chapter 1351. Xiaojun? Young Master Qiao? Why you guys? Wang Xiumei heard the commotion and immediately rushed out. After Qin Feng and Xiaojun were taken away, this poor old grandma cried for an entire day. She cried until she was blind. Wah! Grandma Xiaojun is unfilial and made grandma worry. Hua Xiaojun jumped into her grandma's arms as soon as she got off the horse. The two hugged each other and cried bitterly. Neither of them thought they would meet again in this life. Qin Feng stood to the side and felt a little emotional. He thought of the women in Hero City, his family in the Qin Manor in the provincial capital, and his father in Devil Beast Mountain. Qin Feng also wanted to go home and reunite with them, but he had just arrived in China and found the situation here complicated. He was afraid he wouldn't be able to go back for a while. Hua Xiaojun finally came back to her senses after crying for a while. She quickly wiped the tears from her grandmother's eyes and revealed a rare sweet smile. "Grandma, don't worry. Young Master Qiao has already destroyed the horseman gang. No bandits will disturb our peaceful life in the future." Hua Xiaojun's voice wasn't loud, but it was clearly heard by everyone. The villagers' expressions changed drastically. Many of them were so scared that they sat on the ground. "Why, you crazy girl, don't talk nonsense. If you want to die, don't take us with you." Zhou Hai's voice was trembling. He didn't believe the horseman gang was eliminated even if he was beaten to death. The other villagers also came back to their senses and criticized Hua Xiaojun for speaking nonsense. "Witch, you're simply a witch. Hurry and get out of Hua village. We don't welcome you here." These two must have escaped halfway. "I'm afraid the horseman gang will catch up soon. Those bandits don't have good tempers. They'll definitely be angry this time." Everyone thought Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun had escaped. They became even more nervous. If the horseman gang came again, they wouldn't be so easy to talk to. "Uncle Zhou, hurry and tell your son to inform them again. Otherwise, it'll be troublesome if the horseman gang catches up," someone suggested. Zhou Hai shouted anxiously. "My son is knocked unconscious, how can he go?" "Forget it, I'll go myself. You guys look after these two scourges. Don't let them escape." Zhou Hai impatiently ran away. The Hua family village people surrounded Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun. It looked like they were going to defend this place to the death tonight. Even Wang Xiumei couldn't believe that the horseman gang had been destroyed. This was too unbelievable. She immediately pulled Xiaozhen's hand and came to Qin Feng's side. "Young Master Qiao, please take Xiaozhen and run. The further the better. It's best if you leave distant Ice City and never come back." Qin Feng felt a bit helpless, but he didn't explain because no one would believe him even if he did. Hua Xiaojun didn't believe it at first, but she saw the whole mountain of the horseman gang being razed to the ground with her own eyes. So she comforted Wang Xiumei. "Grandma, young Master Qiao really destroyed the horseman gang. We don't have to worry about those bandits coming to make trouble anymore." Wang Xiumei was stunned and looked at Xiaozhen strangely. Xiaozhen never lied, so why did she lie today? The surrounding villagers sneered. They didn't believe Qin Feng and Hua Xiaozhen's nonsense at all. The horseshoe gang had a lot of people, and they were all powerful warriors. How could they be destroyed? Whether these people believed it or not, Qin Feng didn't care. He had already taken Hua Xiaozhen and Wang Xiumei back to the thatched hut. The villagers didn't dare to stop the three of them, mainly because they were worried about Qin Feng's skills. This person had knocked out village tyrant Zhou Dafei twice. He was too powerful. However, everyone didn't disperse. They split into two groups and guarded the front and back doors of Hua Xiaozhen's house. They were afraid that Qin Feng and Hua Xiaozhen would escape. After entering the house, Qin Feng began to heal his injuries. Hua Xiaozhen was completely relieved, and a warm smile appeared on her face from time to time. On the other hand, Wang Xiumei was extremely anxious. She kept urging the two of them to quickly escape. This made Hua Xiaozhen feel helpless. By the time Qin Feng and the other two had finished their dinner, Zhou Hai had finally rushed back. He looked as if he had seen a ghost, and his body was still trembling. "Uncle Zhou is back." "Ah, Zhou Hai, why didn't the horseshoe gang people come with you? They can't be really angry, right?" Oh no, Hua village is going to be unlucky. Everyone, hurry and escape through the night. The horseshoe gang bandits are going to start a massacre. It's all that bitch from the Hua family's fault. She caused everyone to end up like this." Zhou Hai hadn't even said a word, and the villagers were already talking all at once. Zhou Hai finally came to his senses, but the shock in the depths of his eyes hadn't disappeared. Even now, he couldn't understand why the horseshoe gang's mountain had disappeared. Over 100 fierce and cruel bandits disappeared with it. It was as if the horseshoe gang had never appeared in this area. "The horseshoe gang is gone." Zhou Hai's voice trembled slightly. The villagers who were about to return to their houses to pack their things and escape suddenly stopped and looked at Zhou Hai in confusion. The horseshoe gang is gone? What does that mean? Uncle Zhou, can you explain it more clearly? Zhou Hai looked at the crowd in confusion and repeated. The horseshoe gang is gone. There's no horseshoe gang nearby, and not a single bandit can be seen. Could it be that I was hallucinating? The crowd was stunned, and some even suspected that Zhou Hai had gone crazy. Dad, what nonsense are you talking about? I went to the horseshoe gang's mountain to inform them this morning. Did you go the wrong way? Zhou Dafei had already woken up. He was knocked out twice by Qin Feng, and was about to explode with anger. Zhou Hai had lived in this area for more than 40 years, so how could he go the wrong way? It's gone, it's really gone. The horseshoe gang is gone. Ghost, I must have seen a ghost. Zhou Hai seemed to have really gone crazy. He covered his head and screamed as he ran away. The villagers were dumbfounded. After a while, someone finally came to his senses and said, Something's wrong. Who wants to go to the horseshoe gang's mountain with me? Let's go, I'll go with you. Zhou Dafei brought a few people and rushed to the horseshoe gang. The rest of the villagers hadn't even eaten dinner. They were so hungry that their stomachs were growling. But no one dared to leave Hua Xiaozhen's house. Now that the situation was unclear, they had to continue watching Hua Xiaozhen and young Master Qiao. After eating, Qin Feng went out for a walk. He was amused by the villagers' behavior when he saw that they were still guarding outside the door. When he came back, Hua Xiaozhen came over anxiously. Young Master Qiao, I found out what you wanted to know. Qin Feng pulled Hua Xiaozhen to the woodshed and asked in a low voice. You're talking about the Holy Gate's disciple recruitment. Hua Xiaozhen realized that Qin Feng didn't want others to know about this, so she said in a low voice, Yes, young Master Qiao. There's still some time before the Holy Gate selection. It's tentatively set to be in half a year, but the exact time is still uncertain. Qin Feng was a little anxious. There's still half a year? If that's the case, doesn't that mean I have to stay in this desolate place for half a year? However, other than the Holy Gate selection, there seemed to be no other way. At least, Qin Feng had no clue about it at the moment. Young Master Qiao, why you must enter the Holy Gate? Hua Xiaozhen felt sad when she saw Qin Feng's depressed expression. Qin Feng didn't need to hide it from Hua Xiaozhen. He nodded and said, I'm here to go to the Thousand Shadow Sect and the Spirit Beast Sect. No matter what, I have to go. Hua Xiaozhen's mood became even gloomier. She suddenly realized the huge gap between her and young Master Qiao. If young Master Qiao really entered the Holy Gate half a year later, she obviously wouldn't be able to enter. At that time, she would have to be separated from young Master Qiao. However, Hua Xiaozhen couldn't wait to serve young Master Qiao for the rest of her life. What's wrong, Xiaozhen? Qin Feng felt the change in Hua Xiaozhen's emotions. Hua Xiaozhen hurriedly squeezed out a smile, shook her head and said, It's nothing, young Master Qiao. It's getting late now. Let me serve you to the main room to rest. Hua Xiaozhen didn't say what she was thinking. She felt that she was just a lowly servant. How could she hinder young Master Qiao's big plans, because of her own selfishness? Qin Feng didn't ask further, but he didn't plan to get up and leave. There were only 2 rooms in Hua Xiaozhen's house. The main room beside it, and the storeroom that Qin Feng was currently in. Only the main room had a small bed. In the past, Hua Xiaozhen and Wang Xiumei had squeezed onto the small bed and depended on each other. How could Qin Feng sleep on the same bed as Wang Xiumei? He also couldn't sleep with Hua Xiaozhen and let Wang Xiumei sleep in this cold and damp storeroom, right? I'll sleep here tonight. You can sleep with your grandmother. Qin Feng took off his jacket and spread it on the damp and cold weeds. Hua Xiaozhen was so frightened that she cried out, Ah! Young Master Qiao, hurry and get up. How can you sleep here? Hurry and go to the main room and sleep on the wooden bed. I'll sleep here with grandmother. Qin Feng knew it would be like this. The women's thoughts here were too scary. Let him sleep on the bed and let grandmother sleep in the cold and damp storeroom? Qin Feng really couldn't do it. Don't say any more. You're disturbing my rest. Qin Feng could only put on a straight face and pretend to be angry. Hua Xiaozhen was so scared that tears fell from her eyes. Young Master Qiao, don't blame me. It's all this lowly servant's fault. This lowly servant deserves to be hit. Hua Xiaojun raised her hand to hit herself. Qin Feng hurriedly stopped her. Xiaojun, in the future, without my orders, you're not allowed to hit yourself. Do you hear me? Hua Xiaojun's heart was filled with warmth. She nodded and carefully looked at Qin Feng. Qin Feng couldn't help but stroke her beautiful hair. He hugged her and lay down beside her. Let grandmother sleep in the main room. Tonight, you'll sleep here with me. Hua Xiaojun wanted to say something, but in the end she didn't. Her eyes became moist again. She realized that young Master Qiao was too good. Hua Xiaojun thought to herself, how good would it be if I could meet young Master Qiao when I was born and serve him from a young age? Young Master Qiao, get up first. I'll put on an extra layer of clothes for you. Hua Xiaojun came to her senses. She hurriedly took off her silk dress and laid it under Qin Feng. The two of them wore white cotton clothes underneath. These things were probably the underwear that people here wore. The room was cold and damp. Hua Xiaojun's thin body shivered from the cold, but she pretended to be fine. She didn't sleep on the clothes and ran to the side to lie down on the weeds. Chapter 1352. Zhou Dafei, what's the situation? Are the bandits of the horsemen angry? Ha! Did you guys come back by yourselves? Why didn't the bandits come back with you? Everyone became nervous. They felt that something was wrong. Zhou Dafei and the others were dumbfounded. Just like Zhou Hai, they also found that the hilltop of the horsemen was gone. They searched for the whole night and almost turned the whole place upside down. But they didn't find a single person. Even if the horseman was wiped out, the hilltop should still be there. The bandits' corpses shouldn't have disappeared, right? But now they didn't even find a fart. Son, did the horseman disappear? I told you yesterday, but you didn't believe me. Zhou Hai was also in the crowd and shouted excitedly. Zhou Dafei had to accept this fact. He said to the crowd, my dad is right. The horseman is really gone. It's like they disappeared from this area. The hilltop is gone, the bandits are gone, everything is gone. Zhou Dafei's words stunned the villagers. How could such a thing happen? This was simply a fantasy. But the other people who came back said the same thing as Zhou Dafei. Now they had no choice but to believe it. They couldn't all be crazy, could they? The news of the horseman's disappearance spread throughout the 3 neighboring villages early in the morning. Those bandits not only harmed Hua village, but also the neighboring villages. The villagers were shocked. They didn't believe this nonsense at first. Even the Yamen of West Town couldn't do anything to the hundreds of bandits of the horsemen. How could they disappear overnight? However, many bold villagers formed teams to check the situation. In the end, they confirmed that the horseman gang had really disappeared. They had really disappeared. The hilltop was gone. And the bandits were gone. It was as if the horsemen had never appeared in this area. The news spread, and the villagers of the 3 villages in West Town were in an uproar. Everyone was overjoyed and felt more excited than the new year. Qin Feng had long since heard this news, but he stayed in his room to treat his injuries as if nothing had happened. However, the true qi in his body was unable to circulate, which made him feel somewhat helpless. Once again, Qin Feng began to think of a way to enter the Thousand Shadows sect. The Sacred Gates disciple recruitment would take at least half a year, and Qin Feng did not want to wait that long. He had to think of a countermeasure as soon as possible. Hua Xiaojun saw the horseman gang disappear with her own eyes, but she still couldn't believe it. Wang Xiumei was even more shocked. Yesterday, Qin Feng told her many times that she didn't believe him. Now the 3 villages had spread the news that the horseman gang really disappeared. Until the afternoon, this shocking news was still spreading. A burst of hurried horse hooves rushed over, causing all the villagers to run out. Could it be that the horseman gang appeared again? When everyone saw who it was, they all felt relieved. It was not the bandits of the horseman gang, but a group of bailiffs from the West Town Yamen. Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun also walked out of the house. There were a total of 12 bailiffs. They wore the same iron armor and had large knives at their waists. They stood at the village entrance on tall horses. Where is the person in charge of Hua village? The bailiff at the very front rode a black horse. He looked to be in his early 30s and had a dignified expression. The villagers of Hua village were nervous. As poor people, they could not afford to offend either the bandits or the bailiffs. Zhou Dafei ran out with a face full of smiles. This village was not like the outside world where there was a village chief. The person in charge here was basically a village tyrant. Sir, what instructions do you have for me? Zhou Dafei's attitude was respectful. The head bailiff said coldly. Someone spread a rumor that the horseman gang near West Town disappeared. Did the news come from your Hua village? You unruly people. How dare you spread this kind of rumor? Aren't you afraid of losing your head? After understanding why these bailiffs had come, everyone let out a sigh of relief. Zhou Dafei continued to smile. Sir, the news did indeed come from Hua village, but it wasn't a rumor. The bandits of the horseman gang really did disappear. Even their mountain peak couldn't be found. The head bailiff was called Zhang Zhen. After hearing Zhou Dafei's words, he suddenly froze. Then, he pulled out the large knife at his waist and angrily jumped off his horse. You unruly people dare to spread rumors? Do you think I'm a 3-year-old? The horseman gang has a lot of people. How could they disappear just like that? Zhou Dafei felt a gust of wind, and was so scared that he knelt on the ground. Sir, spare me. I'm telling the truth. If I'm lying, I'm willing to die. The broadsword in Zhang Zhen's hand hovered above Zhou Dafei's head. His heart was filled with doubt. These poor people were all cowards. So how would they dare to lie to his face? The Zhou Dafei in front of him was clearly a coward. Could it be that what he said was true? Zhou Hai finally came to his senses. Seeing that his son was about to be killed, he immediately knelt in front of Zhang Zhen. Sir, my son didn't lie. The horseman gang is really gone. I didn't believe it at first, but later I personally went to see. I hope that sir can investigate it clearly. The villagers were all afraid. One by one, they stood up and expressed the truth of the horseman gang's disappearance. They weren't speaking for Zhou Dafei. They were afraid that sir would not believe them and kill the entire village. Zhang Zhen's subordinates stared at each other, not knowing what to do. Even Zhang Zhen was confused. All the villagers in Hua village said that the horseman gang was gone. They couldn't all risk their lives to spread rumors, right? But how could the horseman gang be gone? As the head of the constables, he had encircled that mountain more than 10 times. Even now, he still hadn't exterminated the group of bandits. Zhang Zhen didn't continue. He turned around and ordered his 2 subordinates. Go to the horseman gang and take a look. Come back quickly and report. The 2 constables immediately rode away. Zhang Zhen and the rest of the people stayed in Hua village to wait for news. If these villagers were lying, Zhang Zhen would start a massacre. Sir, why don't you come to my house first? I'll prepare some good wine and food for you. Zhou Dafei let out a long sigh of relief after escaping from death. He was a little clever, and started to curry favor with these constables. This place was about 1 li away from the horseman gang. No matter how fast the 2 constables were, they would still need some time to return. Zhang Zhen followed Zhou Dafei to his house. Halfway there, he suddenly stopped and his eyes fell on Hua Xiaozhen. You come out. Zhang Zhen suddenly pointed at Hua Xiaozhen. He was attracted by this woman's delicate and refined beauty at first glance. Hua Xiaozhen kept her head down and didn't want anything to happen. She didn't expect to be noticed by these constables. This made her so anxious that she wanted to cry. Sir, what do you want? Hua Xiaozhen still didn't dare to raise her head. She knew her beauty, and because of it, she only worked as a servant for the daughters of rich families. This was the first time she worked as a servant for a man. Hua Xiaozhen's voice was as soft and seductive as spring water. Zhang Zhen liked her even more. Raise your head. Hua Xiaozhen was secretly anxious, but she had to raise her head. When she raised her head, it was like a blooming epiphyllum. Seeing this, Zhang Zhen exclaimed in his heart. Even the constables behind him were burning with lust. That's right, come with me. Today you will serve me. Zhang Zhen's tone was unquestionable. After speaking, he turned and left. However, after taking 2 steps, he suddenly stopped and turned around to stare at Hua Xiaozhen in disbelief. You lowly servant, I told you to follow me. What are you standing there for? Are you tired of living? Hua Xiaozhen was so scared that she started to cry. However, she walked towards Zhang Zhen. She knew that these people were from the West Town Yamen. She was afraid that if she offended them, even her grandmother and young Master Qiao would be implicated. However, before she could walk out, she was blocked by Qin Feng. Hua Xiaojun raised her head and felt that young Master Qiao's back was like a majestic mountain. It gave her a sense of security and warmth. Xiaojun is already my servant. She will never serve anyone else. Zhang Zhen had been overbearing from beginning to end, pressuring the villagers to the point that they couldn't breathe. However, Qin Feng was even more domineering than him. His words caused the crowd to gasp. Is that brat crazy? He even dares to go against people from the yamen? What kind of background does this young Master Qiao have? I feel like he's very powerful. I heard that he's not from here. No matter how powerful he is, it's useless. He came to West Town to play with people from the yamen. I say he won't live past today. Many people looked at Qin Feng with schadenfreude. It was as if he was really going to be unlucky. Zhang Zhen froze for a moment, then flew into a rage. Brat, who do you think you are? So what if she's your servant? Now that I've taken a fancy to her, she's mine. Qin Feng was also a bit angry. If it weren't for the fact that they were in Hua Village, he would have already blown this brat who didn't know his place. My lord, please calm down. Young Master Qiao is indeed my master. This lowly servant has nothing good. I've already served young Master Qiao many times, and am not fit to serve my lord. I hope that my lord won't blame me. Seeing that a fight was about to break out, Hua Xiaojun was so scared that her face paled. She hurriedly came out to plead for Qin Feng. The crowd cried out inwardly, and the way they looked at Hua Xiaojun suddenly changed. This woman had already been played with many times. She was a broken flower, and in the divine great land, this kind of woman would be spurned. Zhang Zhen's heart sank, and he didn't feel good. The women that other people played with always felt like a pile of shit. However, when he looked at Hua Xiaojun's beauty again, his heart began to stir. As expected, you're a lowly servant. You don't have any sense of shame. What's the difference between a woman like you and a courtesan? Hurry and get over here and serve me well. Zhang Zhen gave Hua Xiaojun the title of a courtesan. This way, it was reasonable for him to play with Hua Xiaojun. Hua Xiaojun felt wronged. In order to protect Qin Feng, she purposely said that she had given her body to Master. However, she didn't think that Zhang Zhen would not let it go. Qin Feng's anger burned the heavens, and he was ready to attack. If worst came to worst, he'd just kill these yamen runners and leave with Hua Xiaojun. If worst came to worst, he'd just move to another city. How could he let these ants bully Hua Xiaojun? Chapter 1353. Sir, please spare my granddaughter. This old woman is willing to serve you. Before Qin Feng could make a move, Wang Xiaomei suddenly knelt in front of Zhang Zhen. Everyone was taken aback, finding it somewhat funny that Zhang Zhen had taken a liking to Hua Xiaojun. So what was this old hag doing here? Who could bear to do that? Zhang Zhen was so angry that his eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. He pulled out his large saber and was about to hack Wang Xiaomei. However, Qin Feng was faster than him and punched Zhang Zhen in the stomach, causing him to retreat 3 steps before he could stabilize himself. Whoosh! Suddenly, the sound of swords being unsheathed could be heard. The 9 yamen runners surrounded Qin Feng, ready to fight at any moment. You unruly commoner, how dare you attack Sir Zhang? I think you're tired of living. Kneel and wait for your execution. Otherwise, we'll tear you to pieces. The group of yamen runners spoke ruthlessly, but none of them actually attacked. Qin Feng's punch was so powerful that it made them feel some fear. Zhang Zhen was also stunned. He even forgot the pain in his body and looked at Qin Feng again. He didn't see any true qi flow on this person's body. Where did he get his strength from? A lowly commoner, like you, dares to behave atrociously in front of me? Capture him alive and tear him to pieces, Zhang Zhen roared. And the 9 yamen runners immediately moved. However, a muffled sound came from Qin Feng's body, and a fiery red cylinder was placed on his shoulder. Everyone was stunned. No one had seen such a thing before. The villagers began to discuss it. What is this? Can such a big and round thing be used as a weapon? Don't tell me it's directly placed on someone's head to trap them? This person is dead for sure. How dare he offend the yamen runners? He's just bluffing. The yamen runners and Zhang Zhen were all shocked. They even stopped their attacks. Qin Feng ignored their reactions and retreated a few steps. Just as he was about to blow up these ants, Zhou Dafei suddenly ran to Zhang Zhen's side. "Constable, you can't kill that brat." Zhang Zhen's expression turned cold. He roared, "Why can't I kill him? Do I need you to tell me what to do? I think you must be tired of living." Zhou Dafei trembled in fear. How could he be so kind as to speak up for Qin Feng? He was just afraid that if the two of them really fought, the innocent would be harmed. If he died, who would he go to reason with? "My lord, I don't dare. It's just that he has a lot of gold bars and a Fergana horse. Moreover, the destruction of the Horsehead gang is closely related to him." Zhou Dafei lowered his voice and revealed the situation. Zhang Zhen's expression changed. He didn't care that Qin Feng was rich. After all, how much money could a commoner have? However, the destruction of the Horseshoe Gang made him a little worried. How could the Horseshoe Gang be destroyed for no reason? Could it really be that Xiao Fellow's doing? Speak clearly. What does the destruction of the Horseman Gang have to do with that kid? Zhang Zhen pretended to be arrogant, but deep down, he was a little uncertain. Zhou Dafei hurriedly said, "The Horseshoe Gang had their eyes on Hua Xiaozhen. Yesterday afternoon, they came to capture her, and that Xiao Fellow went with them. Then, the two of them came back at night and disappeared with the Horseshoe Gang. This is very strange." Zhou Dafei explained the situation, and Zhang Zhen became even more nervous. He had led the Yaman's bailiffs to attack the Horseshoe Gang's mountain more than 10 times, but they were unable to destroy the mountain bandits. That Xiao Fellow went to the Horseshoe Gang and disappeared? This was indeed very strange. The 9 bailiffs were still glaring at Qin Feng. Hua Xiaozhen cried and hugged Qin Feng's arm tightly. The villagers were so scared that they didn't even dare to breathe loudly. The atmosphere was deadlocked. "Put away your weapons and follow me." After a while, Zhang Zhen suddenly sheathed his sword and left with Zhou Dafei with a cold expression. The 9 bailiffs heaved a sigh of relief and hurriedly left with Zhang Zhen. After everyone left, the villagers all heaved a long sigh of relief. Some of the more cowardly people sat on the ground and wet their pants. Wang Xiumei was also quite frightened. She hurriedly ran to Qin Feng and Hua Xiaozhen and urged them to run for their lives. "Young Master Qiao, let's leave this place." Hua Xiaozhen was also afraid. Compared to the ruthless mountain bandits, the Yaman's people were more terrifying. Qin Feng didn't want to leave. He could ignore the lives of the other people in Hua Village, but he couldn't ignore Wang Xiumei's life. The bailiffs were all fierce and overbearing. How were they any different from the Horseshoe Gang's mountain bandits? Qin Feng believed that if he left with Hua Xiaozhen, Zhang Zhen would definitely kill Wang Xiumei to vent his anger. However, Qin Feng didn't mention these concerns. Hua Xiaozhen and Wang Xiumei didn't know about it. Seeing that Qin Feng didn't want to leave, they felt helpless. Zhang Zhen and his subordinates had already arrived at Zhou Dafei's house. The Zhou father and son took out the best wine and dishes from the family's collection. "Big brother Zhang, are you really going to let that brat go so easily? That brat is too arrogant." Everyone sat around the square table in the yard. The bailiffs were all suppressing their anger. As bailiffs of West Town, they had never been talked back to by a villager. Zhang Zhen was even angrier. He slammed the table and shouted, "Humph! How can we let that brat go so easily? Let's wait for Little 5 and Little 6's news, and see if the Horseshoe Gang has really been destroyed." The bailiffs discussed, but they still didn't believe that the Horseshoe Gang had been destroyed. Zhou Dafei just happened to come up with a bottle of wine. He hurriedly said with a smile, "Sirs, I can guarantee with my head that the Horseshoe Gang has really disappeared." Everyone was stunned again. Could it be that the Horseshoe Gang had really been destroyed? This matter was simply too inconceivable. Zhou Dafei knew that these bailiffs wouldn't believe it for now, because he didn't dare believe it when he heard it from his father. He personally went to look for it and confirmed the truth. "Brat, tell me in detail. How was the Horseshoe Gang destroyed?" Zhang Zhen asked coldly. Zhou Dafei kept a fawning smile on his face. He realized that his chance to make a fortune had come. As long as he treated these officials well, he could use their connections to get some good jobs. "Lord Zhang, no one knows how the Horseshoe Gang was destroyed. It seems that it suddenly disappeared from this area in the afternoon. However, I'm sure that the disappearance of the Horseshoe Gang has a lot to do with Qiao. That's because the second leader of the Horseshoe Gang took Qiao and Hua Xiaozhen back. After that, the Horseshoe Gang disappeared. Zhou Dafei told them everything he knew without missing a single word. Zhang Zhen and the others listened with bewildered expressions, as if they were listening to a fairy tale. Zhou Dafei didn't care how the Horseshoe Gang disappeared. He was more concerned about what would happen next. He continued, Lord Zhang, the Horseshoe Gang is really gone. Now you should consider claiming credit and getting rewards. Zhang Zhen's eyes lit up. The bailiffs slapped their thighs and yelled, That's right, big brother Zhang. Now that the Horseshoe Gang has been destroyed, we've earned a lot. These bandits have lived in the West Town area for 3 to 4 years. The county magistrate has always withstood the pressure from the prefectural magistrate. Now that the Horseshoe Gang has been destroyed, the West Town Bailiff's office has made a great contribution. That's not right. We didn't destroy the Horseshoe Gang. Even if there's a merit, it's most likely that it's that bullshit young Master Qiao. The crowd continued to discuss. The light in Zhang Zhen's eyes became brighter. How could he give such a great merit to Qin Feng? At most, he would find a chance to kill that brat and take the merit. All of you shut up. Zhang Zhen suddenly roared, causing the crowd to quieten down. He continued, This time, I led you to the Hua village to destroy the bandits. With everyone's heroic efforts, the bandits were all eliminated, and the hilltop was destroyed by us. When we return tomorrow, we will report this to the county magistrate. Do you all understand? Zhang Zhen's words woke everyone up. These bailiffs were all smart people and immediately nodded to show that they understood. At this time, Zhou Dafei came over with a smile. Sir Zhang, why you see? Zhang Zhen understood Zhou Dafei's meaning and impatiently interrupted him. This time, you were the one who tipped us off to eliminate the bandits. When the time comes, I will mention you to the county magistrate. Zhou Dafei was so happy that he almost cried out. Zhou Hai admired his son's wit. He hurriedly ran back to the house and sliced the last kilogram of beef he had hidden. Everyone discussed the plan and felt very happy. Then, Zhou Dafei brought up another important matter. Sir Zhang, what do you plan to do with that Qiao guy? Zhang Zhen's smiling expression immediately became cold. He slammed the table and roared, That brat dares to oppose me. Just wait until we leave the village and hack him to death. Zhou Dafei hated Qin Feng very much. He also wanted Qin Feng to be hacked to death, but now was not the time to kill Qin Feng. Sir Zhang, that brat must be killed. However, before we kill him, we need to get his money. Zhou Dafei had previously mentioned that Qin Feng was very rich, but Zhang Zhen and the others did not take it to heart. As people from the Yamen, they had many ways to earn money. They were not lacking in money. What's a bit of money? Do you think I'm a beggar? Zhang Zhen's expression became cold and somewhat unhappy. Zhou Dafei broke out in a cold sweat and hurriedly explained, Sir, please don't be angry. I wouldn't dare to think of you like that. However, that Qiao guy is really rich. He casually took out a dozen gold bars. Yesterday, when the second in command of the Horseshoe Gang came to capture Qin Feng, the villagers saw Qin Feng take out a dozen gold bars. It was no longer a secret. Tisk, it's just a dozen gold bars. Zhang Zhen's face was full of disdain. However, halfway through his sentence, he was so shocked that he almost fell off his chair. Damn. What did you say? A dozen gold bars? Are you sure it's not a dozen copper coins? Zhou Dafei was speechless. Why would I tell you about a dozen copper coins? However, he did not dare to complain. He put on a smile and said, Sir Zhang, it really is a dozen gold bars. Although I fainted at the time and did not see it, the entire Hua village saw it. Moreover, the second in command of the Horseshoe Gang also checked the authenticity of the gold bars in front of everyone. They are definitely real gold. For the fastest and error-free reading, please bookmark this site for the latest news. Chapter 1354. Zhang Zhen and the others were stunned. That was a dozen or so gold bars. Even they had never seen so much money before. They thought Qin Feng was just a poor commoner, and that his so-called money was just a few copper coins. It seemed like they were wrong. Seeing the shocked expressions on Zhang Zhen and the others' faces, Zhou Dafei continued, Other than gold bars, that guy also has a top-notch Fergana horse. It's said that just that horse alone costs dozens of gold bars, and there's no market for it. Everyone was truly shocked. They were puzzled. How could that brat be so rich? Where is that Xiao guy from? What does he do specifically? Zhang Zhen had already started to have devious thoughts, and started to ask about Qin Feng's situation. Zhou Dafei hurriedly said, I'm not too sure about that guy's background. He just arrived a few days ago, and isn't a local of distant Ice City. Knowing that Qin Feng wasn't a local, Zhang Zhen immediately smiled lightly. Humph. Since he's not from our side, then we can deal with him however we want. That brat dared to offend me, so I'll just take his money, play with his servant, and then kill him. Zhang Zhen didn't care about Qin Feng anymore. The other bailiffs all agreed with this method. Zhou Dafei and his son were secretly pleased. They couldn't wait for Qin Feng to die, and now their wish was finally going to come true. After discussing business, they started to drink and chat. It wasn't until the middle of the night that the two bailiffs, who went to investigate the situation, returned. Just as the villagers said, the horseman gang really disappeared. Even the mountain where the base was located couldn't be found. Last night, Qin Feng hugged Hua Xiaozhen to sleep in the woodshed. He dreamt that Lin Bei climbed into his bed in the middle of the night and touched her in his dreams. Hua Xiaozhen was tormented and didn't sleep well. She was so scared that she almost cried a few times. Early in the morning, they heard a commotion outside. The village entrance was already surrounded by villagers. Zhang Zhen brought a group of bailiffs and surrounded Hua Xiaozhen's house. A bailiff broke in and scared Hua Xiaozhen so much that she jumped up. What do you want? Hua Xiaozhen was very scared herself, but she instinctively stood in front of Qin Feng. She was only wearing a thin layer of white pajamas, which accentuated her sexy figure. The bailiff stared at her, causing Hua Xiaozhen to tremble in fear. Little beauty, don't be afraid. Big brother is here to take you to the yamen to receive your reward. The yamen runner had an evil smile on his face. His eyeballs were practically glued to Hua Xiaozhen's chest. Qin Feng had already stood up, and was holding Hua Xiaozhen in his arms. This woman's body was really soft. Qin Feng realized that she wasn't even wearing a bra. Young Master Qiao. Hua Xiaozhen looked at Qin Feng with an aggrieved expression. Qin Feng patted her head and comforted her. His gaze turned cold as he shouted at the yamen runner. Who let you in? Get out. The smile on the bailiff's face suddenly disappeared. He unsheathed the large knife at his waist and swung it at Qin Feng. Hua Xiaozhen screamed in fear, but she saw Qin Feng standing in his original position without moving. Just as the blade was about to land on his head, a loud explosion sounded in the room. Rumble. Blue lightning flashed and disappeared without anyone noticing. The yamen runner, who had leaped into the air, exploded like fireworks. Blood and flesh splattered on the surrounding walls. In the blink of an eye, he was gone. The crowd outside the house did not know what had happened inside. They only heard a loud noise that felt like an earthquake. Hua Xiaozhen was the only one who saw the situation clearly. Her small face had long since turned pale with fright. She saw young Master Qiao take out a bowless crossbow from somewhere and shoot out a blue light to blow up the bailiff to death. Young Master Qiao. Hua Xiaozhen was so scared that she cried. Qin Feng killed a yamen runner? She trembled nervously in Qin Feng's arms. Before she could finish, 6 black shadows jumped into the room. The 6 yamen runners saw the blood and flesh on the walls and almost vomited in disgust. What did you do, brat? Where's little 6? One of the yamen runners asked with a trembling voice. The other 5 people were also dumbfounded. Little 6 had clearly entered the house. Now there was only Qin Feng and Hua Xiaozhen in the house. What was left was a pool of blood. Little 6 had clearly been killed. However, this brutal method of killing had shocked this group of ruthless bailiffs. Do you want to know how that idiot died? I can use you to demonstrate it again. Qin Feng looked at the yamen runner with a playful expression. The yamen runner was so scared that his legs were trembling. Last night, they heard that Qiao went to the horseman gang. Then, the horseman gang completely disappeared. This person was too strange. The yamen runners were afraid of him. Don't do anything stupid. I don't want to know how little 6 died, the yamen runner said immediately. Qin Feng's face turned cold. He roared, "Then get out of here." The 6 Yamen runners hurriedly left the room. The woodshed was like hell. They didn't want to go back in even if they were beaten to death. The villagers outside stared at each other. No one knew what had happened inside the house. Zhang Zhen's brows were tightly furrowed. Seeing that his 6 subordinates were so frightened that they could barely walk, he didn't have the courage to enter the woodshed to see what was going on. A group of bailiffs and villagers waited outside the door. Before Qin Feng came out, no one dared to barge in. After waiting for a few minutes, Qin Feng and Hua Xiaozhen came out one after another. Hua Xiaozhen was already dressed and was helping Qin Feng put on a silk coat. Qin Feng passed through the crowd and stood in the middle of the Yamen runners. He enjoyed Hua Xiaozhen's considerate service as if nothing had happened. His actions made the villagers speechless. That was a lord of the Yamen. "Brat, you killed a Yamen runner?" Zhang Zhen glared at Qin Feng coldly. "That guy was spying on my maidservant. Killing him was letting him off easy." Qin Feng didn't avoid the topic. The crowd gasped. The villagers had guessed that the Yamen runner, who entered the room first, was dead. Now that they heard Qin Feng admit it, they felt different. Hua Xiaozhen was scared to death. How could young Master Qiao admit this in front of everyone? She hurriedly stood up and anxiously shouted, "Lord, young Master Qiao didn't kill that Yamen runner. He wanted to take advantage of me, so I stabbed him to death." Hua Xiaozhen was too obedient and loyal. Qin Feng liked this girl more and more. Zhang Zhen's expression became colder and colder. He scolded Hua Xiaozhen, "Bullshit. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old? My subordinate has already been killed. And you think you can kill him with a single stab? You're protecting a criminal. Come back to the Yamen with me." Zhang Zhen brought people to surround Hua Xiaozhen's house early in the morning. His goal was to take Qin Feng and Hua Xiaozhen away. Hua Xiaozhen was so scared that she wanted to cry. She wasn't afraid of death, but she didn't want to see young Master Qiao suffer. "I killed him. If you want to take him away, then take me back. Don't wrongly accuse young Master Qiao. He really is a good person." Hua Xiaozhen screamed and screamed, but Zhang Zhen didn't listen to her. The villagers were so scared that they didn't dare to make a sound. The Zhou father and son stood in the crowd and smiled strangely. They knew Qin Feng was in trouble. "Okay, we'll go back with you." Seeing that the atmosphere was in a deadlock, Qin Feng's words shocked everyone. Even Zhang Zhen was dumbfounded. "Young Master Qiao, why you?" Hua Xiaozhen looked at Qin Feng dumbfoundedly. She couldn't guess what he was thinking. Wang Xiumei rushed over and grabbed Qin Feng's arm. She said, "Young Master Qiao, you can't go. If you go, you'll die." Zhang Zhen regained his senses and angrily scolded Wang Xiumei. "You old bastard, shut up. If you say another word of nonsense, I'll kill you." Wang Xiumei looked at Zhang Zhen with fear in her eyes. These people were all officials of the Yamen, but they were so cruel to the commoners, killing them at the drop of a hat. How were they any different from the bandits of the horseman gang? Qin Feng had long since disliked Zhang Zhen and the others. However, Hua village wasn't a suitable place to kill. He comforted Wang Xiumei, and then looked at Hua Xiaozhen and said, "Xiaozhen, do you want to go with me or stay at home?" Hua Xiaozhen hugged Qin Feng's arm tightly and said without hesitation, "If young Master Qiao wants to go, then Xiaozhen will follow you in life and death." Qin Fen had guessed that Hua Xiaozhen would make such a decision. However, when she said it, Qin Fen felt warm inside. He was a stranger in the divine great land, and he didn't have any family or friends. However, he had met Hua Xiaozhen, an obedient and loyal maid. He felt lucky. The two left with Zhang Zhen and the others. The villagers stood at the entrance of the village and watched for a long time. Qin Feng hugged Hua Xiaozhen and rode on flaming dragon horse. Zhang Zhen and the others were shocked when they saw the handsome horse. Zhou Dafei was telling the truth. This brat really did have a Fergana horse. Zhang Zhen and the others felt their hearts itch. Flaming dragon horse was extremely fast and ran at the front. At this time, they had reached the sparsely populated mountainous area. Qin Feng felt that it was time to make his move. He whispered into Hua Xiaozhen's ear, "Xiaozhen, you ride flaming dragon horse and leave first. I'll come find you after I kill those people." Hua Xiaozhen was so scared that she immediately grabbed Qin Feng's sleeve. and shook her head with all her might. She said, "No, I don't want to leave young Master Qiao. Those bailiffs are very powerful. Young Master Qiao, why don't you take me and escape? Even if you have to go to the ends of the earth, this lowly servant will follow young Master Qiao." Qin Feng rolled his eyes. Weren't they just a few bailiffs at the first level of true qi? There was no need to run for their lives. "Xiaojun, listen to me. I even destroyed the horseshoe gang. How could I not defeat those bailiffs?" Hua Xiaojun was stunned for a moment. She still couldn't figure out how young Master Qiao had destroyed the horseshoe gang. She suddenly thought of the scene in the woodshed. Young Master Qiao seemed to be hiding a treasure. That thing could kill people without them knowing. It was really too powerful. But, Hua Xiaojun was still unwilling to leave Qin Feng. Without waiting for her to finish speaking, Qin Feng slapped her perky butt. "You servant girl, are you not going to listen to your master? If you dare talk back again, believe it or not, I'll throw you away." Hua Xiaojun's charming face first blushed, then immediately trembled in panic. She was actually scared to tears. "Woo woo! Young Master Qiao, please calm down. This lowly servant won't talk back again. This lowly servant deserves to be beaten." Qin Feng was about to faint because of this girl. Hua Xiaojun had developed the rigid mentality of a servant over the past 20 years. She was afraid that the masters she had served in the past were all very cruel. If she did anything wrong, they would slap her. Qin Feng felt a bit uncomfortable. He wanted to find all of Hua Xiaojun's previous mistresses and slap those lowly women's faces. For the fastest and error-free reading, please bookmark this site and read the latest. Chapter 1355. Under Qin Feng's persuasion, Hua Xiaojun finally agreed to leave first. While they were secretly planning, the bailiffs behind them were also discussing in secret. "Big brother Zhang, that Fergana horse is so fucking fast. Even our district magistrate's war horse isn't as good as his. Hee. Anyway, that Fergana horse will be ours in a bit. That's over 30 gold bars. Big brother Zhang, when do we make our move? Why don't we bring these two to the yamen first? We'll do whatever we want then." The bailiffs all talked at once. Qin Feng had a lot of money on him, and Hua Xiaojun was a stunning beauty. Now that the horseman gang had been destroyed, they felt that they had been really lucky recently. Zhang Zhen furrowed his brows as he thought of a plan along the way. He didn't want to bring Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun back to the yamen. That way, the money and beauties would all belong to the district magistrate. Zhang Zhen looked around and suddenly said, "Let's go a bit further. We'll make our move when we're near the pass." The dozen or so bailiffs were startled, but they quickly regained their senses. A playful expression appeared on their faces. They had long thought of killing Qin Feng along the way and splitting his money. Now that Zhang Zhen had expressed his opinion, everyone immediately expressed their approval. This area was barren, and not even a ghost could be seen. The main means of transportation in this great land was horses. How could ordinary poor people afford to buy horses? At most, it was merchants who had horse caravans. After walking for a while, Zhang Zhen saw that the environment was about right. He suddenly yelled at the crowd, "Brothers, charge!" The 10 bailiffs were already prepared. With a kick of their legs, the war horses beneath them immediately galloped forward. Hua Xiaojun screamed in fright. A trace of a cold smile flashed across Qin Feng's eyes. He was also prepared to make his move nearby. "Neigh!" Flaming Dragon Horse suddenly neighed. Qin Feng jumped off, and Hua Xiaojun was carried away by the horse. Flaming Dragon Horse was extremely fast. It was like a ball of fire galloping in the wind. By the time the 10 bailiffs surrounded Qin Feng, Hua Xiaojun was long gone. "Not good, that woman ran away." Someone cried out in fear. Zhang Zhen also rushed over on his horse. When he saw that Hua Xiaojun and the Fergana horse had disappeared, he immediately blew his beard and glared at them. "Stinking brat, you really have guts. Stay here and wait for death." Although Zhang Zhen was angry, he felt that it was strange. He saw that Qin Feng was surrounded by everyone, but his expression was still indifferent, as if he couldn't see them. "That's where you're wrong. I'm not staying here to wait for my death. I'm going to kill all of you." Qin Feng sneered. He didn't take these yamen runners seriously at all. Zhang Zhen flew into a rage. He pulled out the large saber at his waist and shouted, "Brat, you really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. I'll give you one last chance to live. Hand over all your assets, and I'll spare your worthless life." The 10 bailiffs had cold expressions on their faces. They rode on their horses and surrounded Qin Feng. Each of them looked like fiends. If an ordinary commoner saw this, they would have knelt down and begged for mercy. "Oh, do you really want everything I have? I'm just afraid that you won't dare to accept it even if I take it out." Qin Feng had a carefree expression on his face. Everyone was on their guard. They couldn't see through Qin Feng's behavior. There wasn't a trace of true qi flowing in this guy's body. He was obviously an ordinary person. Where did he get his confidence from? "I've lived for so long, and there's nothing I can't pick up. Hurry up and take out your treasures." Zhang Zhen lost his patience and looked impatient. Qin Feng flipped his hand, and a pink sword appeared out of thin air. The long sword didn't move, but it let out a light sword cry. Pink light flowed around the sword, as if it had a life of its own. When everyone saw the cosmic flying sword, their eyes immediately widened. Some people's jaws dropped to the ground. They recognized the quality of this spiritual sword at a glance. It was a rare pink equipment. "Big brother, this brat actually has a spiritual weapon. Oh no, this is an immortal sword of different quality. If you have this sword, you won't have to fear even if you meet an expert at the second layer of true qi." Exclamations of surprise rang out. These Yamen runners had never seen a rare pink equipment in their lives. At most, they had seen an orange-grade spiritual weapon. One of the Yamen runners couldn't resist the temptation. He was the closest to Qin Feng. He suddenly jumped off his horse and reached out to snatch the cosmic flying sword from Qin Feng's hand. "Stinking brat, hurry up and hand over the immortal sword. Otherwise, I'll take your dog life." Qin Feng stood motionless on the ground. A cold smile flashed across his eyes. He raised his hand and threw the cosmic flying sword at the Yamen runner. "You really want it? I'll give it to you." Everyone was stunned. They couldn't understand why Qin Feng was so generous. That was a pink spiritual sword. In the hands of Qiao Anhao, it was as if it was of little value. The Yamen runner who jumped over was stunned. He even wondered if he was dreaming. Seeing that the flying sword was about to fall into his hands, the Yamen runner's smile suddenly froze. The flying sword suddenly accelerated. It was so fast that it was dazzling. Before anyone could figure out what was going on, the Yamen runner's body fell from the sky. The instant he hit the ground, his head rolled more than 10 meters away. Only then did blood spurt out from the Yamen runner's neck like a fountain. It was a horrifying scene. At this time, the sun was blazing, but Zhang Zhen and the others were shivering from the cold. An expert at the first stage of true qi had died just like that. No one even knew how he died. Everyone immediately turned to look at Qin Feng. Their eyes were filled with fear. This man's aura was simply too strange. "Is there anyone else who wants this immortal sword? I'll give it to him for free." The air froze as Qin Feng's indifferent voice rang out. How could the Yamen runners still dare to take the immortal sword? They felt that it was a life-reaping sword from hell. Zhang Zhen finally came to his senses. 2 of his subordinates had been killed by Qin Feng. At this moment, his eyes were bloodshot with anger. He leaped up and brandished his sword. "Stinking brat, let's see how much ability you have." Rumble. This sword was wild and unruly. It was like a mountain falling from the sky. Qin Feng didn't dare to take it head-on. His figure suddenly turned into a black shadow and disappeared into thin air. Everyone was startled and hurriedly looked around. All they saw was a pink light drifting erratically in the air. They couldn't determine its position at all. Qin Feng was flying around on his flying sword. This starry sky flying sword was controlled by Qin Feng's mind. Even if he couldn't activate his true qi, he could still move the flying sword. Qin Feng didn't use the flying sword when he exterminated the Horseshoe Gang. The main reason was that there were too many bandits in the Horseshoe Gang. Qin Feng couldn't react in time when he had to fight more than 100 true qi realm experts. Now that he was facing 11 true qi level 1 bailiffs, he could barely use the flying sword to fight a guerrilla battle. Whoosh! The sword hummed continuously in the air, scaring the Yamen runners so much that their faces turned pale. They finally understood how their companion had died. It was obvious that he was killed in one move by the flying sword. They originally thought that Qin Feng was just an ordinary commoner. They didn't expect that he even had a pink flying sword. Zhang Zhen and the others regretted their actions so much that their intestines turned green. However, there was no medicine for regret in this world for them to eat. Poochie. The sound of skin being cut spread out. Although it was very soft, it clearly reached everyone's ears. It was as if a muffled thunder had exploded in their hearts. Everyone immediately looked around and saw one of their companions fall from the back of his horse. As soon as he landed, his head rolled out. Blood gushed out. The Yamen runners were so scared that they didn't even know how to speak. They had all killed people before, but this was the first time they had seen someone kill someone like killing a chicken. This wasn't even killing a chicken. This was truly crushing an ant to death. Big brother Zhang, what should we do? Run quickly. The group of Yamen runners had long been thrown into chaos. At this moment, they didn't even have the strength to run, let alone fight. As their voices fell, two crisp sounds rang out in the air. One of the escaping people flew from the back of his horse. The starry sky flying sword pierced through his chest, creating a huge bloody hole. The fear on the other man's face hadn't even subsided when he suddenly grabbed his neck. In the blink of an eye, blood spurted out and his head flew off. In less than 10 seconds, four experts at the first stage of true qi fell to the ground, unable to get up. Zhang Zhen and the remaining 6 people trembled in fear. The air was filled with the smell of death, as if they would be the next ones to be killed. Damn it, we're going to die anyway. Let's go with that bastard. One of the Yamen runners couldn't bear the terrifying atmosphere and suddenly shouted, just as he was about to swing his blade in the direction of the flying sword. His figure leaped into the air, and the long sword pierced through his heart. He fell straight back to the ground. The remaining people didn't dare to speak anymore. Some of them even jumped off their horses and knelt on the ground, begging for mercy. However, the pink light constantly flashed in the surroundings. Every time there was a sound of wind breaking, an expert fell. Swish, swish, swish. Qin Feng displayed his godly skill of killing experts in the blink of an eye. When only Zhang Zhen was left on the ground, he stepped on the flying sword and appeared in the air. He was like a god of war, descending from the heavens. Zhang Zhen was no longer as ruthless as before. He was already kneeling on the ground and crazily kowtowing in Qin Feng's direction. Young Master Qiao, please spare this lowly one's life. This lowly one will never dare to offend you again. Whoosh! As soon as he finished speaking, the pink light flashed. Zhang Zhen cried out in pain. One of his arms had been pierced by the flying sword. Qin Feng wasn't in a hurry to kill him. He kept him alive because he wanted to ask him some questions. Now I'll ask you a question. Answer me honestly. Qin Feng's voice was as cold as ice. Zhang Zhen's head was like a chicken pecking at rice. Young Master Qiao, please ask. This lowly one will tell you everything I know. Do you know where the holy gate is? Qin Feng went straight to the point. Zhang Zhen was shocked. He didn't expect Qin Feng to ask about the holy gate. From Qin Feng's mysterious method of killing people, he guessed that he was most likely a disciple of the holy gate. Zhang Zhen felt that Qin Feng was probably injured, which was why he couldn't circulate the true qi in his body. However, these holy gate experts had many spiritual weapons and treasures. Dealing with a level 1 true qi ant like him was just a matter of a thought. After thinking about this, Zhang Zhen started to regret. These were people from the Holy Gate. Offending them was simply courting death. Chapter 1356. Zhang Zhen was a bit puzzled. He guessed that Qin Feng was a member of the Holy Gate, so why was young noble Qiao asking about the Holy Gate? Seeing that Zhang Zhen and Hua Xiaozhen had the same answer, Qin Feng was a bit disappointed. He continued to ask, when will the Holy Gate selection begin? Zhang Zhen was even more puzzled, but he didn't dare to ask. According to the time limit of 3 years, there is still half a year left. However, the specific date will be decided by the Holy Gate. It will be announced 1 month in advance, and then the selection will be held at Fire Beacon City. Zhang Zhen told Qin Feng everything he knew. He was afraid that Qin Feng would think that he was hiding something and kill him. Qin Feng learned from Hua Xiaojun that there were 8 great cities in the Divine Continent, and Fire Beacon City was the 9th city that separated itself from the 8 great cities. This place was not under the control of any sacred sect, and was a public land. Qin Feng didn't get any more information, even after asking for a long time. His expression gradually turned cold. Zhang Zhen seemed to have noticed the situation and hurriedly said, "Young Master Qiao, please don't kill me. Do you want to go to the sacred gate of Distant Ice City?" The Spirit Beast sect was at Distant Ice City. Qin Feng asked, "Do you have any other way to enter the Holy Gate?" "Originally, I didn't. But now that Distant Ice City and Meteor City are at war, there is a way to contact the Holy Gate disciples." Qin Feng's eyes lit up, but he still said with a cold expression, "Speak." Zhang Zhen trembled in fear and quickly said, "If young noble Qiao spare this lowly one's life, this lowly one can take you to the Yamen. Now that the 2 cities are at war, the Holy Gate disciples at Distant Ice City have come out to fight. They will contact the people from the Yamen to help them." Qin Feng became spirited. He didn't expect this kind of method. He already started to plan how to enter the Yamen and contact the Spirit Beast sect. As for Zhang Zhen's offer to take him back, Qin Feng didn't even consider it. He could see through Zhang Zhen's thoughts with a glance. If he followed Zhang Zhen back to the Yamen, that brat would definitely gather experts to kill him. Swish! While Qin Feng was still in a daze, Zhang Zhen suddenly jumped up with his saber and instantly appeared above Qin Feng's head. Zhang Zhen's cowardly expression greatly changed as he fiercely glared at Qin Feng. The saber in his hand was already raised above his head. The moment it slashed down, he roared at Qin Feng, "Stinking brat, die." Poochie! The sound of skin being cut rang out. However, it was not Zhang Zhen who had split open Qin Feng's head. There was a flash of pink light, and Zhang Zhen's body was suspended in midair. It was as if someone had cast a body-securing talisman on him. However, a pink flying sword pierced through his chest and supported him in midair. Rumble! With a thought from Qin Feng, the flying sword completely pierced through Zhang Zhen. With a loud explosion, Zhang Zhen turned into a flower of blood. It was no longer possible to see his complete appearance. At this point, Qin Feng had single-handedly annihilated Zhang Zhen and the other 11 true Qi stage experts. He had also obtained some useful information. At this moment, he was in a good mood as he flew down the mountain. By the time he found Flaming Dragon Horse and Hua Xiaojun, he had already flown over 100 miles on his flying sword. Flaming Dragon Horse was grazing on the side, while Hua Xiaojun was sitting on a rock. Her shoulders were loose, and she was crying her heart out. "Little Zhen, why are you crying? Who bullied you?" Qin Feng sheathed his sword and landed on the ground. Hua Xiaojun was shocked. The moment she saw Qin Feng, her eyes sparkled as if she had found a new life. Hua Xiaojun's eyes were swollen from crying. She had been crying since the moment she left on Flaming Dragon Horse. She still did not know how powerful Qin Feng was, and thought that he had died at the hands of the bailiffs. She had already thought it through. If the bailiffs caught up and confirmed that young Master Qiao was killed, Hua Xiaojun would smash her head against the stone wall and follow in young Master Qiao's footsteps. She said she would follow him until death, so she would fulfill her promise. Woo-woo. Young Master Qiao, is it really you? Little Zhen thought. Hua Xiaojun did not continue speaking. Just saying those words made her feel incomparably terrified. Now that she was lying in Qin Feng's arms, feeling the warmth and familiar scent of a man, Hua Xiaojun felt that everything had returned. Qin Feng was speechless by this silly girl. Before they left, he had told her not to worry. It seemed like he had said so much for nothing. "Little Zhen, don't cry. I've killed those bad people. Let's go to the Yamen now." Qin Feng carried Hua Xiaojun onto Flaming Dragon Horse. Hua Xiaojun was shocked. Go to the Yamen? Young Master Qiao, let's run for our lives." Hua Xiaojun could not understand Qin Feng's thoughts. Qin Feng had already killed the bailiffs. Wasn't going to the Yamen to die. Run for our lives? Let's go to the Yamen to receive our reward. Qin Feng said with a smile. Hua Xiaojun felt that her brain was not enough to process everything. She looked at Qin Feng in a daze. "Young Master Qiao, Why you killed the bailiffs, and you still want to receive your reward? Qin Feng could not help but touch Hua Xiaozhen's forehead. He said with a smile, "Who said I killed the bailiffs? Those bailiffs were all killed by the bandits of the horseman gang. I helped the bailiffs destroy the horseman gang. So of course I have to receive my reward. Is little Zhen going to tell on me? Say that I killed the bailiffs?" Hua Xiaozhen suddenly understood Qin Feng's meaning. She was stunned by Qin Feng's boldness, and hurriedly shook her head. This lowly servant wouldn't dare. This lowly servant would never say that young Master Qiao killed anyone. This lowly servant. Qin Feng felt helpless when he saw Hua Xiaozhen's frightened expression. He suddenly increased the speed of Flaming Dragon Horse, and did not explain anything to this woman. Along the way, Hua Xiaozhen pointed the way, and Qin Feng sped on the horse. When the sun set, the two of them arrived at West Town. There were tens of towns in distant Ice City, and each town had a few mountain villages. West Town was one of the larger towns. The streets were crowded with horses and carriages. It was much more prosperous than Hua Family Village. Wow! Young Master Qiao, look! There's candied haws over there. Hua Xiaozhen remembered that she came to West Town with her mother when she was 5 years old. Later, her mother died in the chaos of war, and Hua Xiaozhen's hard life began. She became a servant girl for rich and noble families at the age of 6. Now more than 10 years have passed. She never thought that she would come to West Town with a man. Hua Xiaozhen was attracted by the prosperity of West Town, and her personality became bolder. She sat on Flaming Dragon Horse, and chattered like a cheerful little bird. Qin Feng pulled Flaming Dragon Horse, and stopped next to the old woman selling candied haws. "Old Granny, give me 2 sticks of candied haws." The old woman saw that Qin Feng was wearing silk-embroidered clothes, and was riding a large horse. She appeared to be a bit afraid of Qin Feng, so she immediately gave him 2 sticks of candied haws. "Young master, I'll give you the candied haws for free. Young master, have a safe journey." The old woman didn't dare take the money, so Qin Feng threw her 2 silver coins. These silver coins were obtained from the bodies of the Horsehead Gang and the bailiffs. After all, the gold bars were too eye-catching, and Qin Feng didn't plan on easily taking them out in the future. The old woman and Hua Xiaozhen were both shocked. Those 2 sticks of candied haws were at most half a copper coin. This Qin Feng was simply too generous. "Young master, you can't do this. This is too much money. Even a lowly commoner wouldn't be able to change it." The old woman immediately returned the money to Qin Feng. Hua Xiaozhen also said anxiously, "Young Master Qiao, this lowly servant doesn't want the candied haws. This lowly servant just said it casually. It's all this lowly servant's fault, lowly servant." Qin Feng realized that Hua Xiaozhen was going to hit him again, so he immediately hugged her arm. He took the 2 sticks of candied haws, and immediately disappeared on his horse. He was already afraid of the people of China's closed mindset. Hua Xiaozhen held a candied haw in one hand, and felt like she was dreaming. She only remembered eating this thing when she was young. At that time, she was also her mother's little darling. However, when Hua Xiaozhen remembered that these 2 sticks of candied haws cost young Master Qiao 2 silver coins, she immediately became nervous. However, she also felt warm and sweet. This was the first time she met a master who bought things for this lowly servant. "You lowly commoner, how dare you scare my horse? I think you're tired of living." Qin Feng and Hua Xiaozhen momentarily forgot about going to the bailiffs, and strolled along the bustling streets of West Town. There was a commotion in front of them. Many people had gathered there, and it seemed like something had happened. Qin Feng rushed over on horseback. When the crowd saw his horse, they immediately gave way and looked at him with fear. Among the crowd stood a man and a woman. The man was dressed luxuriously, and held a wooden folding fan in his hand. It was obvious that he was a disciple of a wealthy family. The woman, on the other hand, was dressed in coarse cotton clothes. Her hair was dull yellow due to the lack of nutrition. She was carrying a child who had not been weaned yet, and was crying loudly. The rich man kept cursing and threatening the woman. The woman was so frightened that she trembled. The child in her arms cried even louder. The woman felt sorry for the child and patted the child's body. "Woman, are you deaf or mute? Don't think you'll be fine just because you're pretending to be deaf and mute. Hurry up and tell your child to shut up. It's his crying that scared my horse. If he dares to cry again, I'll throw him to his death." After watching for a while, Qin Feng finally understood. The woman's child's crying had scared the carriage at the side. Because of this, the rich man became overbearing. This scene made many people sigh inwardly, and inwardly criticize the man for being narrow-minded. However, in this chaotic era of war, no one dared to voice their anger. Moreover, everyone knew the man's identity. He was the only son of the county magistrate of the West Town Yamen, Wei Changming. "Young Master Qiao, that man is so bad. The woman is so pitiful." Hua Xiaojun was kind-hearted and could not bear to watch any longer. However, she could only sigh. As a lowly servant, she did not dare to ask Qin Feng for help. The woman was so frightened that she actually knelt on the ground in front of everyone. She raised her head and begged, "Young Master Wei, it's all my son's fault. I apologize on behalf of my son. I hope that young Master Wei can be magnanimous and spare my son and me this time." The sighs in the crowd became even more obvious. Wei Changming spat on the woman and reprimanded her. "Tui, a lowly commoner like you dares to beg for mercy? Do you know how precious my horse is? This is a dark horse that I bought with 10 gold coins. Even if I kill you, I can't afford it." Chapter 1357. The young woman was scared to death, and the child in her arms cried even louder. Everyone felt a chill in their hearts, but Wei Changming didn't show any pity. Instead, he showed an arrogant expression. His gaze fell on the young woman's small face. This woman was delicate and pretty, and her skin was fair and tender. It made Wei Changming have some evil thoughts. "It's not impossible for me to spare you, but it depends on your performance." Wei Changming leisurely fanned himself, while looking at the young woman, with a playful expression. The woman quickly stopped kowtowing and said, "As long as young Master Wei can spare my son, this lowly commoner will do anything." Everyone was puzzled. This Wei Changming had always been a petty and calculative person. Why did he suddenly change today? However, they heard him say shamelessly, "Take off your shirt in front of everyone. I see that your child is crying so hard. He must be hungry. Quickly feed him something." The young woman was stunned and stared at Wei Changming in disbelief. She didn't expect him to say such vulgar words in front of everyone. The crowd started to complain. Even though they knew Wei Changming's identity, his actions completely angered everyone. "This person is too shameless. Who does he think he is? He bullies people in West Town, just because he is the son of the district magistrate. How can such an evil person not be struck by lightning? Sigh. That girl is so pitiful. She won't be able to escape today." Wei Changming immediately pulled a long face when he heard those words. He stretched out his hand and slapped the man closest to him. "Damn it, what are you mumbling about? Do you want to die? If anyone dares to say anything else, I'll take him back to the Yamen." This slap scared everyone. Everyone lowered their heads and didn't dare to look Wei Changming in the eyes. With his powerful identity, who would dare to resist? Seeing that the crowd had quietened down, Wei Changming stared at the young woman with a cold expression. "You are indeed a group of lowly commoners. This young master is kind enough to give you a chance to correct your mistake. But you're not happy? If that's the case, then let your child fall to death and compensate for the frightening matter of my horse." Wei Changming lost his patience and rushed forward to snatch the child from the young woman's arms. The young woman was so scared that tears flowed down her cheeks. She suddenly pulled open the belt on her waist and said, "Young Master Wei, I'll take it off now." The crowd could not bear to watch any longer. Many of the old men turned their heads away from the scene. Some even left angrily, cursing Wei Changming's 18 generations of ancestors in their hearts. That young woman cried as she took off her clothes, revealing her white and tender shoulders. Wei Changming stared blankly at her, unscrupulously standing in front of the young woman, unable to move his eyes away. However, just as he was watching, Wei Changming's expression changed drastically. He glared angrily at Qin Feng, who was tugging on the young woman's clothes, and yelled, "Stinking brat, do you want to die?" Qin Feng pretended not to see Wei Changming. He straightened the young woman's clothes, helped her up, and stood behind him. Take the child and leave. The young woman was startled, but she didn't dare to move. This young master, thank you for your kindness, but you should leave. The young woman was very kind. She was afraid of implicating Qin Feng. So before she could finish speaking, Hua Xiaojun had already grabbed her arm and pulled her out. Wei Changming was so angry that his neck was red. He yelled at the young woman. If you dare to leave today, I'll make it so that you won't be able to live in West Town anymore. The young woman was so scared that she trembled. Hua Xiaojun forcefully pulled her, but she didn't dare to leave. Wei Changming's eyes suddenly lit up, and his gaze fell on Hua Xiaojun. He had played with all the beauties in West Town, but he had never seen someone as lovely and moving as Hua Xiaojun. You get over here. Wei Changming tossed Qin Feng to the side. After his gaze fell on Hua Xiaojun, he couldn't move his eyes away. The crowd shook their heads and sighed. They knew that Hua Xiaojun and Qin Feng were out of luck. Both of them were kind, but how could they defeat Wei Changming? Hua Xiaojun didn't recognize Wei Changming, but she was a bit afraid. She pulled the young woman and hid behind Qin Feng. What do you want? It's not easy for this big sister to raise a child, so why do you have to make things difficult for her? Hua Xiaojun looked like a silly child, and the crowd shook their heads again. Everyone felt that Hua Xiaojun was too young, so she didn't know the evils of society. Wei Changming didn't need a reason to bully people. He didn't care if you were pitiful or not, and he would bully you whenever he wanted to. Wei Changming sneered and yelled at Hua Xiaojun. You lowly commoner. You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Do you know who this young master is? I'm the only son of the county magistrate. These words made Hua Xiaojun dumbstruck. Even Qin Feng was slightly startled. He was just about to go to the yamen to find the county magistrate, but he didn't expect to run into the county magistrate's son first. Hua Xiaojun realized that she had caused big trouble, and she felt a wave of regret. She had implicated young Master Qiao again. Young Master Wei, please forgive us. We didn't mean to offend you. Hua Xiaojun was so anxious that tears welled up in her eyes. She wanted to slap herself for always causing trouble for young Master Qiao. Wei Changming saw that Hua Xiaojun was afraid and laughed loudly. Haha, you want me to forgive you? Sure, do the same thing as that woman. Take off all your clothes. Hua Xiaojun was so angry that her little face turned red. She was now Qin Feng's servant, and she had always treated her body as Qin Feng's. Now that she was being humiliated, she felt like she was humiliating young Master Qiao. Hua Xiaojun wanted to say something, but Qin Feng stood up and said, Young Master Wei, right? You're acting like a tyrant just because you're the county magistrate's son. Is there any law breaking in West Town? Wei Changming had forgotten about Qin Feng, so he didn't expect him to suddenly jump out. With a cold expression he yelled, Stinking brat, you dare to meddle in my business? How am I acting like a tyrant? It was clearly that lowly commoner's child who scared my horse. It's only right for me to want her to apologize. Wei Changming was unreasonable. However, just as he finished speaking, the flaming dragon horse suddenly neighed as if it had gone mad. It even leaped around, scaring the crowd. Even Wei Changming was frightened, and he moved a few meters away from Qin Feng. Qin Feng said as if nothing had happened, You saw it. Because of your roar just now, it scared my Fergana horse. Tell me, how are you going to compensate me? Wei Changming was suddenly stunned. It had always been him looking for trouble. Who would have thought that someone would look for trouble with him today? Fuck your grandpa. What does your horse's insanity have to do with me? I suspect that this horse has a plague. I'm going to kill it right now. Wei Changming was so angry that he went to find a knife. Qin Feng laughed coldly. My horse neighed because it went mad. Your horse neighed because it was scared by someone. According to what you said, you should kill your horse first. I suspect that it also has a horse plague. Qin Feng's words stunned Wei Changming on the spot, and he couldn't even retort. The crowd cried out in surprise. They were all shocked by Qin Feng's glib tongue. This person actually dared to reason with Wei Changming? In the end, he even made Wei Changming dumbfounded. The young woman was dumbfounded, and Hua Xiaojun looked at Qin Feng with stars in her eyes. Her reliance and admiration for young Master Qiao deepened day by day. and she was unable to free herself. You wicked commoner, are you purposely looking for trouble with me? Do you believe that I won't call the bailiffs to come and arrest you right now? Wei Changming couldn't argue with Qin Feng, so he used his identity to scare him. Unexpectedly, Qin Feng acted as if he didn't hear him. I'll already run when the bailiffs come. How about I go to the yamen with you? Everyone was shocked. They couldn't understand what Qin Feng was thinking. Even Wei Changming was stunned. Why you want to go to the yamen with me? What? Are you afraid of me? Qin Feng smiled calmly. Wei Changming was instantly delighted. If Qin Feng dared to go to the yamen with him, he had 100 ways to play Qin Feng to death. He even suspected that this person was crazy. Benefactor, don't go. The young woman hurriedly ran over. She was slightly afraid of Wei Changming, but she still reminded Qin Feng. Hua Xiaojun was also worried. She knew that young Master Qiao came to West Town to go to the yamen, but now that he had offended the son of the county magistrate, wouldn't he be seeking death by going to the yamen? Young Master Qiao, why you? Hua Xiaojun also wanted to persuade Qin Feng, but the words didn't come out. She thought that she was only young Master Qiao's lowly servant. How could she always persuade young Master Qiao? What if she annoyed young Master Qiao, and he didn't want her anymore? Qin Feng understood what Hua Xiaojun meant. He gave her a reassuring look, then looked at Wei Changming and said, Are you going or not? If you're not going to the yamen, I'll be leaving first. Wei Changming was speechless at Qin Feng. It was the first time he had seen someone like Qin Feng who was so eager to die. The three of them left together. Qin Feng carried Hua Xiaojun and rode on the fiery dragon horse, while Wei Changming rode on the big black horse. Because of Qin Feng's interference, Wei Changming forgot about the young woman. The young woman carried the crying child and watched Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun gradually disappear into the distance. Tears streamed down her face, and she knelt on the ground and kowtowed 3 times in the direction that the two of them left. The surrounding crowd shook their heads and sighed. They were also infected by Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun's kindness and courage. However, everyone thought that the two of them were going to die, and they felt extremely sorry for them. If Qin Feng knew what those people were thinking, he would definitely be depressed to death. He was bringing Hua Xiaojun to the yamen to receive the reward, so why were they sad? Moreover, Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun didn't know where the yamen was. Now that they had a little brother to guide them, it saved Qin Feng a lot of trouble. West Town was neither big nor small. After going around half the town, they arrived in front of the yamen. Young Master Qiao, oui. Hua Xiaojun looked at the majestic yamen and began to feel nervous again. Qin Feng patted her back and said, Don't worry. What's there to be afraid of with me by your side? However, Qin Feng's words made Hua Xiaojun's nervous heart suddenly calm down. She stole a glance at Qin Feng's resolute side profile with infatuation. Yes, to be able to stay with young Master Qiao at all times, regardless of life or death. What was there to be afraid of? Wang Long, Li Hu, where did your 2 grandsons go? Someone bullied this young master. Come out and cripple him. Wei Changming was silent along the way, because he felt that he couldn't beat Qin Feng. As soon as he arrived at the yamen, he immediately roared at the courtyard. Chapter 1358. This shout frightened Hua Xiaojun. 2 black shadows leaped out of the yamen. They were clad in iron armor and wielded large sabers. They stood beside Wei Changming like 2 door gods. Where did this thief come from? He even dares to provoke young Master Wei. Young Master Wei, did that unruly commoner hurt you? The 2 bailiffs called Wang Long and Li Hu were tall and sturdy. Just by standing there, Hua Xiaojun was scared to the point of trembling. Qin Feng had already retracted his gaze. These 2 people were both at the first stage of true qi, so he did not put them in his eyes. Humph! Stinking brat! You dare to meddle in this young master's business. Now you know fear? Hurry up and kneel and beg for mercy. Maybe this young master will let you go if I'm happy. After returning to the yamen, Wei Changming was extremely arrogant. He arrogantly reprimanded Qin Feng. Qin Feng smiled coldly and said, I think you're crazy. Do you have the life to take responsibility for making me kowtow to you? Wei Changming suddenly froze. He did not think that Qin Feng would be so arrogant at the entrance of the yamen. Wang Long and Li Hu already had their blades in hand. How could they have the patience to talk nonsense with Qin Feng? The air was filled with wind from the blades. The destructive power of the experts at the first level of true qi could not be underestimated. Hua Xiaojun screamed in fear. Wei Changming had a playful expression on his face. It was as if he could already see Qin Feng dying under the blades. Whoosh! A faint sword hum sounded, but it was covered by the violent wind from the blades. Qin Feng stood in place without moving. When Wang Long and Li Hu were less than half a meter away from him, a pink light flashed. Because it was too fast, it did not attract anyone's attention. Just as the blades were about to fall, their faces suddenly revealed a painful expression. It was as if something had cut their legs. They immediately knelt in front of Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun. The atmosphere immediately became strange. Wang Long and Li Hu looked at their calves dumbfoundedly. The iron armor was cut through, and the flesh was split open. If they cut deeper, their tendons would have been severed. The smile on Wei Changming's face suddenly froze. He looked at the two bailiffs in disbelief. Even now he still did not understand the situation. He roared angrily. "You two idiots, who told you to kneel? You're simply embarrassing me. Get up." Seeing that young Master Wei was enraged, Wang Long and Li Hu were so scared that they trembled. They didn't even care about the pain in their legs. They climbed up and jumped back to Wei Changming's side. One of them said, "Young Master Wei, this kid is a bit strange." Wei Changming slapped Wang Long too and roared, "Evil my ass. You can't even subdue an unruly commoner. Did my dad raise you bunch of good-for-nothings for nothing?" Wang Long was so depressed that he was about to cry. Li Hu said carefully, "Young Master Wei, that guy is really strange. Look at my leg. It was cut for no reason. It was almost crippled." Only then did Wei Changming realize Li Hu's leg injury. The bloody wound was truly terrifying. He looked at Li Hu suspiciously and said, "Brat, don't tell me you cut it yourself?" Wei Changming wasn't an idiot. The reason he said these seemingly idiotic words was because the speed of the flying sword was too fast. He didn't even see it clearly. He didn't even see Qin Feng make a move, so how could Li Hu be injured? Li Hu was also extremely depressed. Wang Long hurriedly extended his leg and said, "Young Master Wei, we're not lying. My leg was also cut by someone." Wei Changming's expression changed drastically. He already realized that something was wrong. Wang Long and Li Hu couldn't possibly injure themselves, right? However, nothing happened just now. He really couldn't figure out how Qin Feng had done it. The atmosphere was at a stalemate. Wang Long and Li Hu didn't dare to act recklessly. There was a hint of fear in the depths of Wei Changming's eyes. At this moment, another person walked out of the yamen. When Wei Changming saw him, it was as if he had seen his savior. He immediately went forward to welcome him. "Father, you came just in time. There's an unruly commoner bullying me. Father, you have to stand up for me." The person who came was in his early 50s. He wore a black official's robe and a black gauze hat. His expression froze as he looked at Qin Feng. He probably didn't expect that someone in West Town would dare to offend his son. "Who are you? How dare you behave atrociously in West Town?" Wei Zhengsheng glared coldly at Qin Feng. Hua Xiaojun had long been scared to death. This was the first time she had seen the district magistrate of West Town. As a lowly commoner, she had to kneel in front of the district magistrate. If Qin Feng hadn't been supporting Hua Xiaojun's slender waist, she would have really knelt. "Are you the district magistrate of this yamen?" Qin Feng looked at Wei Zhengsheng calmly. In the eyes of the poor people of West Town, this person was unreachable. But in Qin Feng's eyes, he wasn't even worth mentioning. Speaking of which, the position of district magistrate was equivalent to that of a county magistrate in the outside world. Qin Feng was now the #1 person in China, and even the 12 peaks had to greet him when they saw him. How could a mere district magistrate enter Qin Feng's eyes? Everyone was suddenly stunned. They were all stunned by Qin Feng's calmness. Wei Zhengsheng furrowed his eyebrows. He had been in West Town for 5 years, but this was the first time he had seen such an arrogant person like Qin Feng. "How dare you, Diao Ming? This district magistrate is asking you a question." "What right do you have to ask me a question?" Wei Zhengsheng angrily blew his beard and glared at Qin Feng. Suddenly, 8 guards rushed out of the courtyard and surrounded Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojin like tigers watching their prey. Hua Xiaojin was so scared that she cried. She knew that she and young Master Qiao wouldn't be able to escape death today. However, Qin Feng acted as if he didn't see the guards with swords drawn. He looked at Wei Zhengsheng and said, "I am a hero of a generation. I was passing by here and saw your Yaman's bailiffs surrounding bandits, so I lent a hand. I've come to receive my reward." It was as if Qin Feng was narrating a story to himself. Everyone who heard him felt dizzy and disoriented. Wei Zhengsheng's expression became even colder. He didn't understand what Qin Feng was saying. "You unruly commoner, you're probably stupid. Why are you babbling nonsense here? Capture him and behead him tomorrow at noon." Wei Zhengsheng gave the order, and the group of guards was about to act. Hua Xiaojin cried out in fear. Qin Feng quickly said, "West Town's district magistrate is so mighty. I helped the Yamen exterminate the bandits, but you want to behead me? If this gets out, I'm afraid you won't be able to keep your job." The guards jumped in fright. This brat was really crazy. He even dared to say such arrogant nonsense. Wei Zhengsheng's expression changed greatly. He suddenly yelled, "Stop!" The guards' swords were about to fall on Qin Feng's head, but they suddenly stopped and hung in the air. They glared at Qin Feng with provocative eyes as if to say, "You're lucky, brat." Qin Feng thought it was funny, but he ignored these ants. If Wei Zhengsheng yelled a second later, the group of guards would have been beheaded. "Just who are you? And why have you come to the Yamen?" Wei Zhengsheng saw that Qin Feng was wearing silk-embroidered clothes and had a handsome and tall horse behind him. He guessed that Qin Feng was also from a rich family. Although Wei Zhengsheng was the district magistrate of West Town, he didn't dare to offend a truly large family. If Qin Feng's identity was powerful, he would have to be careful. How could Qin Feng not see through this person's thoughts? He smiled and said, "I've already said it clearly. I'm a hero of a generation. A few days ago, I passed by the Hua family village and helped your Yamen exterminate the bandits of the horseman gang. Now, I'm here to receive my reward." Wei Zhengsheng froze for a moment. He thought Qin Feng was joking, but now it seemed like it really was true. "You really exterminated the horseman gang? There were so many bandits, you couldn't have exterminated them by yourself." "It was indeed difficult for me to do it by myself. Didn't your Yamen constables bring people to encircle and annihilate them?" Qin Feng said indifferently. Wei Zhengsheng and the guards were stunned. The horseman gang did all sorts of evil in the West Town area, which gave Wei Zhengsheng a headache. However, the bandits were numerous, and they were all fugitives who weren't afraid of death. Wei Zhengsheng had sent constables to encircle and annihilate the horseman gang many times, but they had never been able to take down the mountain. Now, Qin Feng suddenly came and said that the horseman gang had been exterminated. It was really hard to accept. "I haven't sent constables to encircle and annihilate the bandits recently. You're obviously lying." Wei Zhengsheng's old face turned cold, and the group of guards looked like they were about to strike again. Qin Feng said disapprovingly, "Didn't you send constables? But I know a constable named Zhang Zhen. He told me he was from the West Town Yamen, so I came here to receive my reward." Wei Zhengsheng's eyes lit up, and he asked anxiously, "Where are Zhang Zhen and the others?" "Zhang Zhen and 11 constables died in the battle to encircle and annihilate the horseman gang. I survived because of my superb skills and annihilated the entire mountain of the horseman gang." Qin Feng had already thought of a set of excuses before he came. It just so happened that he had many superficial wounds on his body, so he said that he got them in a fierce battle with the bandits. Everyone stared at each other, not knowing whether Qin Feng was telling the truth or not. If it was true, then wouldn't Zhang Zhen and the others all be dead? The 8 guards surrounding Qin Feng had a trace of vigilance in their eyes. Qin Feng was actually able to escape unscathed in the battle to encircle and annihilate the bandits. Obviously, he was a powerful expert. Wang Long and Li Hu were even more certain that their calves were cut by Qin Feng. "What are you still standing there for? Hurry up and invite us in. I'm a great hero." Qin Feng impatiently glared at Wei Zhengsheng. He was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. However, after a moment of silence, Wei Zhengsheng didn't order the guards to act again. He really did bring Qin Feng into the yamen. The interior of the mansion was even more luxurious than it looked from the outside. There were gardens, small courtyards, and countless other courtyards in the surroundings. It gave off the feeling of a Suzhou garden. However, Wei Zhengxing didn't say anything else to Qin Feng. He took him and Hua Xiaojun to a guest room and left first. "Father, why did you treat that stinking brat like a guest? He bullied me." Wei Changming followed his father to the main mansion. He felt extremely sullen on the way here. Wei Zhengxing's expression was ice cold. He paced around the room with his hands behind his back. Suddenly, he yelled at Wang Long and Li Hu, who were outside the door. "You two, go and take a look at the horseman gang's mountain. Go and come back quickly." Wang Long and Li Hu received the order and immediately went down. Wei Changming was full of confusion. "Father, you really believe that brat's nonsense? The horseman gang has over 100 bandits, and they're all true Qi realm martial artists. Even if that brat has some ability, it's impossible for him to wipe out the horseman gang alone." Chapter 1359. Wei Zhengxing felt that something was wrong. If that Xiao guy could call out Zhang Zhen's name, then he must have seen Zhang Zhen. Now that Zhang Zhen and the others were nowhere to be seen, Wei Zhengxing started to believe Qin Feng's words. He was annoyed by Wei Changming's incessant questions. He suddenly roared, "Shut up! You said that Xiao guy was lying, so why did he lie? Was he looking for death? Then where did Zhang Zhen and the others go? When are you going to use your brain?" Wei Changming didn't dare to make another sound. Although Zhang Zhen and the others were nowhere to be seen, he still didn't believe Qin Feng's nonsense. That was the horseman gang. How could they be wiped out so easily? Wei Zhengxing walked faster and faster, and his thoughts became more and more chaotic. He had already thrown Qin Feng's matter to the back of his mind. There was an even more troublesome problem that had tormented him for several days. After a while, Wei Changming couldn't help but complain. "Father, isn't it just that Xiao guy? You don't have to be so worried, right?" Wei Zhengxing glared at him angrily and said, "What do you know? That Xiao guy is nothing." Wei Changming was stunned. "Father, then what are you worried about?" Wei Zhengxing had spoiled his son too much and allowed him to stir up trouble outside. He almost never told his son about the important matters of the family. But now that he was facing a matter of life and death, Wei Zhengxing couldn't let Wei Changming do as he pleased. "Stinking brat, let me tell you something serious. Now that the war between Distant Ice City and Meteor City is imminent, the experts of the Sacred Gate have already been dispatched. I'm afraid that they will come to our yamen in a few days. At that time, they will definitely ask me to lead the young men of the village and town to war. If I die in the chaos of war, you'll have nothing to eat." Wei Zhengxing's words scared Wei Changming silly. He didn't have to worry about food or clothing since he was young and was used to the life of a young master. He didn't even know how to cook or wash clothes. If his father really died, what would he do? "Father, don't scare me. You can't go to war. You can just stay in West Town." Wei Changming was naive. Wei Zhengxing angrily shouted, "Who do you think I am? You don't have to go if you don't want to go. The Sacred Gate's experts are so powerful that even the Distant Ice City's castellan has to listen to their orders. I'm just a county magistrate. You better prepare yourself. If the Sacred Gate's people really come, I'll give you a huge sum of money. You should run for your life by yourself." This was the case in the Divine Great Land. Two cities often fought with each other. Once they fought, people had no way to make a living. Even high-ranking officials like the county magistrate or even the prefectural magistrate would be ordered to lead troops into battle. Wei Changming's body went soft as he sat on the chair in a daze. This news came too suddenly, and he was completely unprepared. The atmosphere fell into a cold silence. Wei Zhengxing sighed continuously and became more and more agitated. Wei Changming, on the other hand, was racking his brains to think of a solution. He did not want his father to go to war. If that happened, his life as a young master would be completely over. "Father, I thought of a good idea." Wei Changming suddenly jumped up. This sudden action gave Wei Zhengxing a fright. When he regained his senses, Wei Zhengxing glared at his son with a cold expression. He didn't believe that this kid had any ideas. The sacred gate wants the officials to go to war. If father isn't the county magistrate, won't you be able to escape this calamity? Wei Changming continued. Wei Jingxing's expression changed. He didn't think about this, but he quickly rejected his son's idea. If he resigned now, even if he could keep his life, he would become a lowly commoner in the future. That would be a fate worse than death. He might as well do it now. If I don't want to be the county magistrate, you can go beg on the streets. Even a vicious tiger wouldn't eat its cubs. Although Wei Zhengxing was a wily old fox, he only had one son, Wei Changming. He would rather go to war himself than let his son live a poor life. Wei Changming thought about it and agreed. He would rather his father die in battle than to let him live on the streets. However, Wei Changming didn't dare to say this out loud. Otherwise, he would definitely be beaten to death by his father. Father, I have another idea. Since I can't resign, I can just find an imposter to replace me. When the experts from the sacred gate bring the imposter to war, you will still be the county magistrate, and I will still be the son of the county magistrate. One couldn't help but say that Wei Changming had too many ideas when it came to survival. Wei Jingxing's eyes lit up. This idea isn't bad. However, now that 20% of the county is in chaos, who would dare to be the county magistrate? Wouldn't that be courting death? Wei Changming's eyes spun and he immediately said, I got it. Let's find that person with the surname Qiao. Isn't he here to receive rewards? It's obvious that he is someone who covets money and power. Father can say that he made a great contribution, and let him be the county magistrate for a few days. If his performance is good, we can give him a job as a constable in the yamen. Wei Jingxing's expression changed. He had always looked down on this son of his, but he didn't expect his son to come up with such a brilliant plan at such a crucial moment. After careful consideration, Wei Zhengxing also felt that this idea wasn't bad, and he made up his mind. The guest room that Qin Feng and Hua Xiaozhen stayed in was not bad. There was a double wooden bed, a dressing table, and a wooden tub for bathing. Hua Xiaozhen sat by the bed and felt like she was dreaming. Young Master Qiao offended the county magistrate's son, injured a bailiff, and even talked back to the county magistrate. In the end, he was hosted by the county magistrate. This was simply unimaginable. Young Master Qiao, I have a feeling that the county magistrate and the others are up to no good. Why don't we escape in the middle of the night? Hua Xiaozhen's expression was filled with worry. She wasn't afraid of being bullied, but she was worried that young Master Qiao would suffer. Of course, Qin Feng knew that Wei Zhengxing and the others were up to no good. However, he came to the yamen to find out the whereabouts of the spirit beast sect. According to Zhang Zhen, the sacred gate would send people to the yamen to summon them to battle. Qin Feng planned to stay here for the next few days. Xiaozhen, don't worry. If those people dare to do anything bad, I won't forgive them. Qin Feng spoke, as if he was talking about a trivial matter. After staying with him for so many days, Hua Xiaozhen had already sensed that Qin Feng was abnormal. He looked like a poor commoner, but he had killed many martial artists. Hua Xiaozhen couldn't persuade him anymore. She hurriedly ran to turn on the water for Qin Feng. She tested the water temperature with her hand and helped Qin Feng change his clothes and bathe. These days, Qin Feng was already used to being served by Hua Xiaozhen. Especially when he bathed every night, he didn't need to do anything. Hua Xiaozhen took care of everything for him. Qin Feng lay naked in the wooden basin. He didn't care that Hua Xiaozhen had seen everything. Hua Xiaozhen carefully helped him bathe and asked, Young Master Qiao, this lowly servant has some questions. Ask away, no need to be polite with me, Qin Feng said. Hua Xiaozhen finally gathered her courage and said with a voice as soft as a mosquito, Young Master Qiao, where are you from? What does your family do? You seem very powerful. Are you a martial artist? Hua Xiaozhen immediately regretted her words. She was just a lowly servant. How could she ask about her master? Before Qin Feng could speak, he heard a burst of crying behind him. He immediately became depressed. Xiaozhen, what's wrong? However, he heard the crisp sound of a slap. Hua Xiaozhen cried. This lowly servant deserves to die. This lowly servant shouldn't have asked about my master. Please punish this lowly servant, young Master Qiao. Hua Xiaozhen slapped herself twice in a row. She had no intention of stopping. Qin Feng jumped in fright. He hurriedly turned and carried her into the bathtub. Only then did he realize that Hua Xiaozhen's clothes were wet from the warm water. Qin Feng didn't care too much. He grabbed the girl's hand and looked at the red fingerprints on her fair and clean face. His heart ached. Xiaozhen, did you forget what I told you before? You're not allowed to hit yourself in the future. Qin Feng was a bit angry. Hua Xiaozhen trembled in his arms and cried even harder. She found that she always made young Master Qiao unhappy. At this moment, she wanted to bang her head against the wall and die. Seeing that she was frightened, the anger in Qin Feng's heart dissipated. He hugged Hua Xiaozhen even tighter and touched her face. Do you really want to know about my past? I'm afraid it'll scare you. Hua Xiaozhen shook her head and then nodded. She was really curious about Qin Feng's identity, but she didn't dare to ask again. Qin Feng saw that Hua Xiaozhen's clothes were wet and stuck to her body. He was afraid that she would catch a cold. Go change into some clean clothes first, then I'll tell you. Only then did Hua Xiaozhen realize that her clothes were wet. Moreover, some parts of her chest were exposed. Her little face flushed red, but she didn't leave. Instead, she took off her clothes in front of Qin Feng. Xiaozhen. Qin Feng jumped in fright. His gaze was fixed on her. So Xiaozhen's figure was this good. Hua Xiaozhen lowered her head and said in a small voice, Young Master Qiao, I heard that many young masters like to bathe together. Can this lowly servant accompany young master? Hua Xiaozhen couldn't continue. She was so embarrassed that her body was about to burn. Qin Feng hurriedly calmed himself down, but he didn't let Hua Xiaozhen leave. He let her continue to help him bathe. Qin Feng told her about his situation. He was unfamiliar with the people and land of China, so he really wanted to find someone to talk to. He believed in Hua Xiaozhen's loyalty, so he didn't need to hide anything from a woman. After Hua Xiaozhen listened to Qin Feng's story, she was dumbstruck. She covered her small mouth with both hands to prevent herself from screaming. Her eyes were about to fall into the bathtub. After a long time, she opened her mouth and said, Young Master Qiao, why you're not from here? Qin Feng nodded. He knew this was too shocking. Hua Xiaozhen needed a lot of time to slowly digest it. Hua Xiaozhen was really stunned, and she was very scared. So young Master Qiao was from the outside world. He came to China to take revenge and take away a few friends. When the time came, young Master Qiao would have to go back. Hua Xiaozhen thought about it, and tears flowed down her face. She didn't know what she should do in the future. Xiaozhen, what's wrong? Qin Feng looked at Hua Xiaozhen baffled. He thought that this woman couldn't be crying, could she? Hua Xiaozhen bit her lips and didn't speak. She didn't want to say what was on her mind. Chapter 1360. Early in the morning, Wei Zhengsheng brought a group of people to Qin Feng's room. Hua Xiaozhen had just finished washing up, and immediately ran to Qin Feng when she saw the people. Young Master Qiao. Qin Feng patted Hua Xiaozhen's shoulder to calm her down. He looked at Wei Zhengsheng indifferently and said, Magistrate Wei, you came to find me early in the morning. Are you going to reward me? Qin Feng's words made everyone speechless. You beat up a bailiff, bullied young Master Wei, and talked back to the magistrate yesterday. You still want a reward? Is there something wrong with this brat's head? Hua Xiaozhen was very nervous. She thought these people were looking for trouble. The bailiffs didn't know Wei Zhengsheng and Wei Changming's plan, and looked at Qin Feng with playful expressions. But in the next moment, everyone's smiles froze. They even suspected that there was something wrong with their ears. Haha, young Master Qiao guessed correctly. This magistrate is here to reward you. I hope I didn't disturb your rest. Wei Zhengsheng smiled amiably. Even Qin Feng was a bit suspicious. Hua Xiaozhen was dumbfounded. Her mouth opened and closed, but she couldn't say anything. Wang Long and Li Hu's eyes fell to the ground. After a while, Wang Long came to his senses and said, Magistrate, why you want to reward that bastard? Wei Zhengsheng glared at Wang Long coldly and scolded. You lowly servant! How dare you question this magistrate's intentions? Do you want to teach me how to do things? Wang Long was so scared that he almost knelt down. He wondered if Magistrate Wei took the wrong medicine today. Li Hu and the other guards were also at a loss. But after seeing Wang Long's fate, they didn't dare to say anything. Everyone lowered their heads and stood to the side. Wei Zhengxing once again piled a kind smile on his face and walked to Qin Feng's side. Haha, young Master Qiao, it's my fault for not disciplining my subordinates. Please don't take it to heart. Qin Feng had long seen that something was wrong with Wei Zhengxing today, but he couldn't guess what he was thinking. Qin Feng didn't expose him and pretended to be stupid. Magistrate Wei, you don't have to be so polite. I'm here to receive my reward. The Horseshoe Gang is considered a large gang, and I fought to the death to completely annihilate them. I wonder how much merit I'll get this time. When the bailiff saw Qin Feng's eagerness to take credit and receive rewards, their expressions turned icy. Even if he wanted to receive rewards, it wouldn't be his turn. However, Wei Zhengsheng and Wei Changming's eyes flashed with a hint of a smile. When they saw how anxious Qin Feng was, they were even more confident in the plan they had discussed last night. Hee, young Master Qiao has made a great contribution this time. You must know that the Horseman Gang has committed all kinds of crimes and has been active in this West town for 3 to 4 years. During this period, how many poor people have been killed, and how many virgin girls have been harmed? Wei Zhengxing's wild boasting completely confused Wang Long and the others. What medicine was this county magistrate selling in his gourd? Hua Xiaojin was already nervous. The closer Wei Zhengxing acted to Qin Feng, the more worried she was. Even she could see that Wei Zhengxing was hiding something. Oh, if that's the case, I'm going to have a meteoric rise this time? How does County Magistrate Wei want to reward me? Qin Feng cooperated with Wei Zhengxing and yelled excitedly. Wei Zhengxing's smile became even wider. Young Master Qiao, how about this? I have some business to attend to in the next few days. So why don't you be the county magistrate for a few days? If you perform well, I'll give you the position of constable. What do you think? After Wei Zhengxing finished speaking, he looked nervously at Qin Feng. Wei Changming's palms were covered in cold sweat. The fate of the father and son depended on Qin Feng's decision. Hua Xiaojin, Wang Long, and the others were so scared that they almost fell. County Magistrate Wei, why you? Young Master Wei, hurry and persuade the county magistrate. If that Xiao guy becomes the county magistrate, will our days be good? Wang Long and Li Hu couldn't take it anymore, and immediately jumped out to dissuade him. Wei Jing blew his beard and glared at them. Wei Changming lifted his foot and kicked the two of them. You two dogs, when did you have the right to interrupt when my father is speaking? If you dare to speak out of turn, believe it or not, I'll drag you out and behead you. Wei Changming was suddenly enraged. He was someone who couldn't wait for Qin Feng to die. It had only been one night, but Wei Zhengxing and Wei Changming seemed to have become completely different people. Their attitudes towards Qin Feng had changed by 180 degrees. Wang Long and Li Hu didn't care about the pain in their bodies. They were so scared that cold sweat broke out on their backs. Hua Xiaojin anxiously tugged at the corner of Qin Feng's clothes and looked at him nervously. Young Master Qiao, this lowly servant thinks that why you shouldn't be the county magistrate. Hua Xiaojin also didn't understand Wei Zhengxing's intention, but she knew that this person definitely didn't have good intentions. Qin Feng had seen through this long ago, but he pretended to be stupid and said, You lowly servant, don't you want this young master to have a good life? It's rare that County Magistrate Wei thinks highly of me, and even gave up the position of county magistrate. How can I refuse? Qin Feng immediately agreed. He came to the Yamen to see the Holy Gate disciples. If he became the county magistrate, the Holy Gate disciples would definitely look for him when they came to West Town. Haha, good, I didn't choose the wrong person. County Magistrate Qiao, you have to manage West Town well these few days. Just don't cause any big trouble. Wei Zhengxing's face was full of surprise. It was as if he was afraid that Qin Feng would suddenly change his mind, so he impatiently decided on this matter. Everyone was completely dumbfounded. Too many things had happened in these 10 minutes. The highest official position in West Town had actually changed hands. Wasn't this a little too childish? Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others couldn't accept this. They had all offended Qin Feng. Now that Qin Feng had become the county magistrate, wouldn't he play them to death? However, the matter had already been decided, so no one dared to say another word. Hua Xiaojun was so scared that she was trembling. Just now, Qin Feng had scolded her for the sake of acting, and she was so scared that she cried. After Wei Zhengxing finished giving his instructions, he hurriedly ran away. He said that he had more important matters to attend to out of town, but in reality, he was looking for a place to lie low. To prevent Qin Feng from becoming suspicious, Wei Changming stayed at the yamen. Now that Qin Feng had become the highest official in West Town, he found it funny when he saw the group of bailiffs standing in a daze in the room. "The two of you go get 2 sets of clean clothes," Qin Feng ordered Wang Long and Li Hu. Qin Feng ordered Wang Long and Li Hu. He and Hua Xiaojun only had 1 set of clothes, so they needed a change of clothes. The two of them had come early in the morning with the intention of suppressing Qin Feng, but now they were being ordered around by Qin Feng's servant. They were so angry that their faces were livid. They stood there as if they hadn't heard anything. Qin Feng didn't care about their reactions. He looked at Wei Changming indifferently and said, "Son, are these 2 dogs deaf? Why are we keeping 2 good-for-nothings for nothing? Drag them away and behead them." Qin Feng's words stunned everyone. Wei Changming suddenly snapped out of his daze. He was so angry that his nose was crooked. "Xiao, who the fuck are you calling son? Do you believe that I won't kill you right now?" Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others had long been sullen. Seeing that young Master Wei had finally returned to normal, everyone immediately drew their sabers and surrounded Qin Feng. They looked like they were going to hack him to death at any moment. Hua Xiaojun was so frightened that she couldn't stop wiping her tears. She felt that she and young Master Qiao were really going to die today. Qin Feng sneered and said, "Oh, my son, are you going to rebel? I'm now the district magistrate, and you are the son of the district magistrate. Aren't you my son? You want to kill me? Then do it." Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others didn't know and were really about to swing their sabers. Wei Changming suddenly came to his senses. If Qin Feng was killed, his father would go on an expedition. His days as a young master would come to an end. Slap, slap, slap. A few slaps suddenly sounded. Wang Long and Li Hu's eyes widened as they looked at Wei Changming in disbelief. "Young Master Wei, why did you hit me?" Wei Changming vented all the anger in his stomach on the bailiffs and slapped them one by one. "You bunch of vile creatures, hurry up and put away your sabers. You want to attack the district magistrate? I think you're tired of living." Wei Changming was like a lunatic in everyone's eyes. One moment he wanted to kill Qin Feng, the next he didn't let them kill him. Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others were full of grievance. They were beaten up for no reason early in the morning. It was simply unreasonable. Hua Xiaojun was even more dumbfounded. She guessed that Wei Zhengxing and his son didn't have good intentions, but she couldn't figure out what these 2 wanted. Qin Feng also couldn't figure it out, but he was too lazy to think about it. There were only a dozen or so bailiffs at the first level of true qi left as a defense force. If they really provoked Qin Feng could kill them with a thought with his flying sword. Moreover, now that he was the district magistrate, Qin Feng could come into contact with people from the Holy Gate. This was the most important matter. Wang Long and Li Hu didn't dare to be arrogant anymore. They dejectedly ran down to prepare clothes for Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun. The other bailiffs also hurriedly found an excuse to escape. They felt that Wei Changming had gone crazy. It was best to stay away from him at this time. What if he got infected? Qin Feng deliberately let Wei Changming stay and bullied him. He affectionately called him son. Wei Changming was so angry that his face turned black, but he didn't dare to explode. After a while, 2 sets of expensive silk-embroidered clothes were delivered. Qin Feng didn't bother to look at Wei Changming and his people anymore. He angrily scolded them and chased them away. Only the 2 of them were left in the room. Hua Xiaojun was still standing in the same place and couldn't come back to her senses for a long time. "Xiaojun, try these clothes and see if they fit you. If they don't, I'll get them to make another set for you." Qin Feng had already thrown Wei Changming and his people to the back of his mind. Hua Xiaojun foolishly took the silk-embroidered clothes and started to take off her clothes. When she stood naked in front of Qin Feng, she suddenly woke up. Ah, young Master Qiao, let's leave quickly. The Wei father and son definitely don't have good intentions. Young master, don't be blinded by the benefits in front of you. Chapter 1361. The two sets of clothes fit him perfectly. Qin Feng wore a long white robe, and his long hair flowed in the wind. Hua Xiaozhen was mesmerized by his appearance. Hua Xiaozhen, on the other hand, was wearing a red qipao. It was a style that was specially worn by maidservants in ancient times. The sides of the skirt were slit to the side of her thighs, and one could vaguely see Xiaozhen's slender and fair legs. The qipao was a bright red, and it seemed to make her small face look even more charming. Before Hua Xiaozhen met Qin Feng, she had never worn silk clothing. Now she wore silk brocade clothes, rode a horse, and slept in a high-class place every day. It felt like a dream. She didn't dare to persuade Qin Feng to leave. Seeing that Qin Feng had decided to stay as the county magistrate, Hua Xiaozhen was prepared to die by his side, regardless of life or death. As long as young Master Qiao didn't abandon her, it was fine. Young Master Qiao, breakfast is ready. The two had just changed when Wang Long knocked on the door and walked in. He carried all sorts of good wine and dishes. Qin Feng slapped him without saying anything and scolded. You're still calling me young Master Qiao? I think you don't want your head anymore. Qin Feng had long disliked these bailiffs. These people wanted to kill him, so how could Qin Feng let them off so easily? Half of Wang Long's face immediately swelled up. He was so angry that he glared at Qin Feng, looking like he wanted to fight. Hua Xiaozhen was so scared that she grabbed Qin Feng's clothes tightly. Tears welled up in her eyes again. Slap. At this time, Qin Feng slapped him again, and the other half of Wang Long's face swelled up as well. You even dare to glare at the county magistrate? Do you think I won't get someone to gouge out your eyes? Qin Feng never showed mercy to his enemies, and these two slaps completely woke Wang Long up. Now that county magistrate Wei was nowhere to be found, the huge yamen was managed by Qin Feng, and even young Master Wei gave in to Qin Feng. How could a mere bailiff fight against Qin Feng? Magistrate Qiao, please calm down. You just took office this low. This lowly one still hasn't gotten used to it. The anger on Wang Long's face suddenly disappeared, and he forced a smile to please Qin Feng. Qin Feng ignored him, and had him put the breakfast on the table. Hua Xiaozhen was stunned to the side. Did young Master Qiao really become the county magistrate? Wang Long immediately retreated after delivering the food. Now Qin Feng was like a demon in his eyes. Qin Feng pulled Hua Xiaozhen, who was in a daze, to sit in front of the table. She was so frightened that she suddenly woke up. Ah, Qiao, young Master Qiao, please spare this lowly servant. This lowly servant can't sit. Hua Xiaozhen was a bit depressed. She found that Feng liked to have her sit down when he ate. But how could she do that? In the great land, where a slave and her master ate at Feng there? In the land how there was how there. There how there, Feng said. Qin, Hua, and Hua. He, Qin, and Qin Feng and said Hua, and said Hua. Hua said, and Hua Qin. Qin and Qin he. Hua Xiaozhen's heart was filled with warmth. She was so touched that she wanted to cry. Young Master Qiao was the best master she had ever seen. However, Hua Xiaozhen's stubborn thoughts had been preserved for more than 10 years. How could they be changed so easily? She sat in Qin Feng's embrace and trembled. She couldn't even hold her chopsticks steadily, and she didn't eat a single bite. Xiaozhen, open your mouth. Qin Feng couldn't stand it anymore. He picked up a piece of beef and put it next to her mouth. Hua Xiaozhen was so scared that she fidgeted. Young Master Qiao, this can't be done. This slave can't eat. Qin Feng had long since discovered that Hua Xiaozhen would never touch meat dishes when they ate. Moreover, she would only eat one bowl of rice each time. Even if she wasn't full, she wouldn't eat a second bowl. Qin Feng's expression became cold. He pretended to be angry and said, Xiaozhen, if you don't eat, then I can only force you to eat with my mouth. Ah, that won't do. Young Master Qiao, Hua Xiaozhen was anxious to death. She knew Qin Feng was good to her, but her mind was sealed. She always felt that this wasn't right. Under Qin Feng's insistence, Hua Xiaojun finally opened her small mouth and took a small bite of the beef. As she chewed slowly, her eyes sparkled like stars. She had forgotten how long it had been since she had eaten meat. It tasted much better than vegetables. As a hedonistic young master, he was disgusted by the taste of meat when he was outside. Since Hua Xiaojun liked to eat beef, he fed her mouthful by mouthful. Hua Xiaojun gradually relaxed a little. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she ate the food her master fed her. How she wished that this moment could be sealed forever. It was such a blissful moment. After the meal, there were still a lot of meat dishes left on the table. This was the best meal Hua Xiaojun had eaten in her entire life. She looked at the remaining half plate of beef and the large bowl of chicken soup with a hesitant expression. She looked at Qin Feng many times, but in the end, she didn't say anything. What's wrong, Xiaojun? Qin Feng could tell that she wanted to say something. Hua Xiaojun had already gotten up from Qin Feng's embrace. She stood to the side and said carefully, "See, young Master Qiao, can this lowly servant take these leftovers?" Qin Feng stilled. "You're not full yet? Then continue eating. What are you afraid of?" Hua Xiaojun immediately waved her hands. Her mouth was full from Qin Feng's feeding, and this was the fullest she had ever eaten. This lowly servant wants to take it back for Grandma to eat. Grandma has lived her entire life, but I hasn't eaten meat before. Qin Feng stilled again, and was moved by Hua Xiaojun's filial piety. He walked up and rubbed her head. "There's no need to take the leftovers. I'll have someone make another portion. Once it's done, we'll go to Hua family village." After eating and drinking their fill, Qin Feng carried Hua Xiaojun and rode Fire Dragon Horse to Hua family village. A group of bailiffs followed and protected him. When they arrived at Hua family village, it was already noon. Many villagers had just finished their farm work and were carrying hoes home to cook. Is that young Master Qiao and Xiaojun? That brat is still alive? Why didn't the people from the yamen kill him? Hurry and look. The one with the surname Qiao and Xiaojun have changed into a new set of clothes, and there are many people riding horses behind them. What's going on? Very quickly, someone noticed Qin Feng and the others. The procession of horses was too spectacular, and it was impossible to keep a low profile. In less than a minute, almost half of the villagers surrounded the village entrance. Everyone discussed and didn't understand what was going on. "Xiaojun, young Master Qiao, are you really back?" An old granny suddenly ran out of the crowd and excitedly rushed over with the help of a walking stick. Hua Xiaojun had already jumped off her horse and rushed over to hug Wang Xiumei. The two women started to cry and felt as if they were reunited between life and death. "Xiaojun, why are you back? The people from the yamen didn't bully you?" After crying for a while, Wang Xiumei calmed down and had a confused expression. Hua Xiaojun helped her granny wipe away her tears. A joyful smile suddenly blossomed on her face as she said, "Granny, young Master Qiao is so amazing. He's already the county magistrate. He was afraid that Granny would be worried, so he brought me back to tell you." When Hua Xiaojun's words fell into the crowd's ears, the Hua family village instantly exploded. "Holy shit! That girl Hua Xiaojun is crazy. She's actually talking nonsense." They even dared to impersonate the identity of the county magistrate. How did these two survive until now? The one with the surname Qiao. You actually dared to escape from the yamen and escape back to the Hua family village. If you have the guts, don't run. I'll call people to arrest you right now. Zhou Dafei suddenly jumped out of the crowd. Since last night, he had been waiting for Zhang Zhen to help him take credit at the yamen. In the end, there was no news at all. Instead, Qin Feng and Hua Xiaojun came. Hua Xiaojun was already dissatisfied with Zhou Dafei. When she saw that he was disrespectful to young Master Qiao, she said with a huff, "Zhou Dafei, don't frame young Master Qiao. He didn't escape from prison. He's now the county magistrate of the West Town Yamen." The crowd exclaimed incessantly. The West Town magistrate was the highest-ranking official in this area. They had to kowtow when they saw the magistrate, but no one believed Hua Xiaojun's words. The reason why they were surprised was because they never imagined that Hua Xiaojun would dare to lie so boldly. "Huh, I think you're crazy, woman. That brat can be the county magistrate? Then lousy is the magistrate. Zhou Dafei smiled coldly. He didn't put Hua Xiaojun and Qin Feng in his eyes at all. Now that he had curried favor with Zhang Zhen, he believed that in a few days, the Yamen would call him to receive his reward. Perhaps he could even get a position as a bailiff. If that happened, the entire Hua family village would be proud of him. At that time, he would forcefully take Hua Xiaojun and beat Qin Feng. Would this brat still be arrogant then? I think you're the crazy one. You dare to pretend to be the magistrate. Hua Xiaojun pouted and glared at Zhou Dafei. Zhou Dafei suddenly froze. He suddenly didn't recognize Hua Xiaojun anymore. This woman used to be extremely weak. If he hit or scolded her, she wouldn't resist at all. But now she dared to talk back to him? Zhou Dafei was so angry that his eyes turned blood red. Hua Xiaojun, you dare to yell at Laozi? Isn't it just being that Qiao's servant? Look at how capable you are. That brat pretended to be the county magistrate and is about to be beheaded. When he dies, I want to see who will help you. Zhou Dafei cursed angrily. Hua Xiaojun couldn't bear to hear others talk about Qin Feng being beheaded. She was so anxious that she was about to cry. Zhou Dafei, I don't even want to pay attention to an ant like you. Yet you're throwing yourself at me. Don't tell me you have masochism. Qin Feng saw that Hua Xiaojun was anxious and stepped in front of her and Wang Xiumei. Zhou Dafei was more or less afraid of Qin Feng's skills. He was so scared that he took 2 steps back. However, he was confident in his heart. Now that he had curried favor with Constable Zhang Zhen of the Yamen, how could he be afraid of Qin Feng? Continue to be arrogant. I'll go to the Yamen right now to find Lord Zhang Zhen. When he brings people to capture you, let's see if you can still be so arrogant. Zhou Dafei had a card up his sleeve. After he finished speaking, he looked as if he was about to go down the mountain to the Yamen. The villagers all had playful smiles on their faces. They looked at Qin Feng with schadenfreude. They felt that this person didn't have long to live. Chapter 1362. Zhou Dafei suddenly froze. He was preoccupied with bickering with Hua Xiaojun and Qin Feng, and didn't pay attention to the group of people behind Qin Feng. After Qin Feng's reminder, everyone looked over, and their eyes and jaws dropped to the ground. Those people are really from the Yamen. Yeah, aren't they bailiffs from the Yamen? They're all wearing bailiff's armor. Holy shit! The sun rose from the west. Could that Qiao guy really have become the county magistrate? The Hua village people were dumbfounded. Young Master Qiao wasn't killed by the Yamen, and he even became the county magistrate. The world was coming to an end. Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others stood behind Qin Feng, and were being pointed at by a group of poor people. They were so angry that they were about to explode. However, they still didn't understand the situation. Did County Magistrate Wei really give the position of County Magistrate to that Qiao guy? Was there something wrong with his brain? Heh, do you really think I'll believe you just because you spent money to find a few people to act with you? Just as everyone was panicking, Zhou Dafei suddenly laughed loudly. He knew that Qin Feng was quite rich, and it wasn't hard at all to find a group of poor people to act. No matter what, Zhou Dafei didn't believe that Qin Feng became the county magistrate even if he was beaten to death. That was the highest official in West Town. Unless County Magistrate Wei was stupid, the position would have been passed on to young Master Wei. Why would it fall on Qin Feng? With Zhou Dafei's reminder, the Hua village people suddenly came to their senses. They only needed to think a bit to understand that this was definitely the Qiao guy acting. This Qiao guy is simply too daring. Not only did he pretend to be the county magistrate, he even hired people to pretend to be bailiffs. Even if he had 9 heads, it wouldn't be enough to behead him. The bailiffs of the West Town Yamen came yesterday, and none of these people are the bailiffs from yesterday. They're clearly fake. Hua Xiaojun, you bitch, look at what you've done. You'll only be happy if you kill everyone in Hua village. The crowd was in an uproar again, and some women started to curse at Hua Xiaojun. Now that Qin Feng had pretended to be the county magistrate, if this got to the Yamen, the entire Hua village would be in trouble. Little Zhen, how could you do such a thing? You'll really lose your head for this. Even Wang Xiumei was anxious. However, she only scolded Hua Xiaojun and immediately pushed her away. Hurry up and let young Master Qiao take you away. Leave distant ice city. The further you run, the better. Hua Xiaojin felt depressed. Suddenly, she could somewhat understand young Master Qiao's feelings. Qin Feng was a little annoyed by the noise. He yelled at Wang Long, who was still in a daze. Are you stupid? Why aren't you arresting that unruly commoner for me? He insists that I'm a fake district magistrate. Give him 50 strokes of the cane first. Under Qin Feng's command, Wang Long and Li Hu immediately rushed towards Zhou Dafei. They didn't want to pay attention to Qin Feng, but after being abused this morning, they didn't dare to disobey. Both of them were experts at the first stage of true qi. They grabbed Zhou Dafei like a little chick and brought him in front of Qin Feng. The villagers were stupefied. Was this guy surnamed Qiao addicted to pretending to be the district magistrate? County Magistrate Qiao, can we execute it now? Wang Long asked respectfully. Beat him. Just as Qin Feng finished speaking, 2 more bailiffs rushed up and pressed Zhou Dafei to the ground. Wang Long directly pulled down his pants. The village woman was so embarrassed that she immediately turned her head. But there were also some people who peeked out of curiosity. Wang Long and Li Hu already made their moves. Their strength was so strong that Zhou Dafei felt his buttocks blossom with one strike of the cane. Ayo! Fuck your grandpa. You guys really dared to hit me? Do you really think you're bailiffs? Hurry up and help me up. I'm going to the yamen to sue you. Zhou Dafei still didn't understand the situation. He angrily cursed. Wang Long and Li Hu already had a belly full of anger. Their blows became even heavier. You idiot! I'm not a bailiff, you're a bailiff. You unruly commoner, I'll break your dog legs. Zhou Dafei still wanted to threaten them, but after 3 strikes of the cane, he was already in so much pain that he couldn't speak. Wang Long and Li Hu didn't care about this person's life or death. They each hit him with vigor. The villagers cried out when they saw this. Zhou Hai angrily rushed out, pointed at Qin Feng's nose and cursed. Qin Feng called out a few bailiffs, and Zhou Hai was also given 50 strokes of the cane. It was noon, and everyone wasn't afraid of the hot sun. They didn't even eat, and surrounded the village entrance to watch Zhou Dafei and his son get beaten. The villagers were extremely depressed. They still didn't believe that Qin Feng was the county magistrate. Seeing this brat put on a show, they thought he was really crazy. Qin Feng didn't care about their thoughts. He was already comforting Wang Xiaomei with Hua Xiaojin. Hua Xiaojin stood close to Qin Feng with her back to Zhou Dafei and Li Hu. She didn't dare to look around. She was deeply afraid that her eyes would be polluted, and she wouldn't be able to serve young Master Qiao. The 50 strokes of the cane ended quickly. Actually, by the time it reached the 10th stroke, Zhou Hai and his son had already fainted. However, Wang Long and the others wouldn't stop. They wanted to vent all the anger in their hearts today. County Magistrate Qiao, those 2 guys are unconscious. Should we behead them on the spot? Wang Long had already arrived at Qin Feng's side. His expression was serious, and he didn't look like he was joking at all. The villagers trembled in fear. They thought to themselves that this Qiao guy was going crazy from acting. He wouldn't actually kill the Zhou father and son in front of everyone, right? Qin Feng had long disliked Zhou Hai and his son, but he wouldn't go so far as to kill them. In the end, these 2 were just poor people at the bottom of the social ladder. They just developed a personality that went with the wind. Moreover, Wang Xiaomei had long since expressed her vow to stay in Hua village. If Qin Feng really killed the Zhou father and son, how could Wang Xiaomei stay in Hua village in the future? Don't worry about those 2. Bring the things they brought back into the house. Qin Feng waved his hand, and Wang Long and the others immediately got to work. On the horses they rode, there were 2 large sacks. This time, they carried more than a dozen sacks, which made the villagers confused. Xiaojin, what is this? Wang Xiaomei asked when she saw those people carrying sacks and walking towards her house. Hua Xiaojin's face lit up with a blissful smile. She sneaked a glance at Qin Feng and then said to Wang Xiaomei, Grandma, those sacks are all beef, lamb, horse, chicken, duck, fish, and some silk clothes, cloth shoes, cotton padded jackets, bedding, and some loose silver. Hua Xiaojin felt that she couldn't finish talking. Those things were all brought by Qin Feng. At the time, Hua Xiaojin jumped in fright. The villagers cried out in alarm. and Wang Xiumei sat on the ground in fright. These dozen or so sacks were actually filled with expensive goods. Where did Xiaozhen and young Master Qiao get them? Could young Master Qiao really have become the county magistrate? The villagers couldn't stay calm either. For the first time, they started to suspect that the Qiao guy didn't really become the county magistrate. County Magistrate Qiao, the things have been put away. These wicked people dared to question your identity. Should we arrest them and bring them back to the yamen? Wang Long ran over, tired and sweating. The villagers couldn't hold it in anymore. A bold youth stood out and said, "You guys say you're from the yamen? Do you have any proof?" Wang Long wanted to slap that idiot to death. But seeing that Qin Feng didn't say anything, he didn't dare to act blindly without thinking. "Open your dog eyes and take a good look. This is the yamen's token. We're all constables of the West Town Yamen. This is the newly appointed County Magistrate Qiao. Why aren't you kneeling when you see County Magistrate Qiao?" Wang Long took out an identity token from his waist, and the crowd immediately cried out in alarm. Wasn't this the token that represented the identity of a constable? It's really the Yamen's constables. How is this possible? Someone came to his senses with a start, and looked at Qin Feng in disbelief. He felt like he was dreaming. This brat had just offended a group of bailiffs yesterday afternoon, and was taken back to the West Town Yamen. Today, he had returned triumphantly as the county magistrate. This was simply too legendary. This lowly one pays his respects to the county magistrate. I hope the county magistrate won't blame us. A few villagers had already knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Qin Feng. The others came to their senses one after another and knelt down. They were so scared that their bodies trembled. Wang Xiumei was also scared silly. She prepared to kneel, but Qin Feng supported her. At the same time, he pulled Hua Xiaozhen back. Otherwise, this woman would also kneel. There were several dozen Hua family villagers in front of him, and they all knelt in a row. It was a spectacular scene. Young Master Qiao. Hua Xiaozhen trembled in fear at this scene. Before she finished speaking, Qin Feng understood what she meant. He said to the villagers, "Everyone get up. I'm not here to suppress you. I just came back to see Third Grandma Wang. Now that I'm the county magistrate of West Town, I'll expand the development of Hua Family Village in the future. You can all live here in peace." Qin Feng didn't have any enmity with these villagers, so he didn't make things difficult for them. When everyone heard these words, they all let out long sighs of relief. However, they still didn't get up. The idea of being a lowly commoner that had been instilled in them for decades was deeply ingrained. After knowing that Qin Feng was really the newly appointed county magistrate, they didn't dare to slight him in the slightest. Qin Feng couldn't persuade these people, so he simply pulled Hua Xiaozhen and Wang Xiumei into the house. After seeing Qin Feng leave, the villagers dared to get up. They hurriedly ran home to hide. Wang Long and the other bailiffs stood guard at the village entrance. They couldn't complain even though they were standing under the scorching sun. Wang Xiumei was still in a daze. She couldn't understand how young Master Qiao had suddenly become the county magistrate. "Young Master Qiao." No, County Magistrate Qiao, this old servant greets you." Wang Xiumei was a bit afraid of Qin Feng. She entered the house and wanted to kneel again. Qin Feng felt helpless. He supported her and said, "Third Grandma Wang, don't be so polite with me. Xiao Zhen is my servant, so we're considered family." Wang Xiumei suddenly burst into tears. She knew that her granddaughter had found a good master. Being able to give Xiao Zhen to Qin Feng meant that Wang Xiumei's last worry was completely gone. Qin Feng had dinner at home. Wang Xiumei and Hua Xiaozhen still refused to sit down. However, they were more talkative and wore sweet smiles on their faces. Qin Feng had been in the divine Great Land for a week, and this meal made him feel like he was at home. He missed the women in Hero City even more now. Qin Feng had been in the divine Great Land for a week. Chapter 1363. The next morning, Qin Feng left Hua Village with Hua Xiaozhen and the bailiffs. The people of Hua Village escorted them from 1,000 miles away. They were certain that young Master Qiao was the new district magistrate, but they still found it hard to believe. The group of people rushed back to the yamen. As soon as they returned, They saw Wei Changming rushing over anxiously. "County Magistrate Qiao, you're finally back. An important person has come to the Yamen. You should go and receive him." Although Wei Changming had swallowed his anger in front of Qin Feng, this was the first time he had addressed Qin Feng respectfully. Qin Feng immediately knew that trouble was coming. Until now, he still didn't understand why the Wei father and son gave the position of district magistrate to him. Qin Feng guessed that their intentions were clear, but he didn't care too much. Hua Xiaojun, on the other hand, became nervous. She grabbed Qin Feng's clothes tightly and looked at him worriedly. Qin Feng patted Hua Xiaojun's arm to comfort her and asked Wei Changming, "What important person has come?" Even Wang Long and the others were confused. Wei Changming said anxiously, "The disciples of distant ice cities' 3 sacred gates are here. County Magistrate Qiao, don't ask so much and follow me in." Qin Feng's eyes brightened. He came to the Yamen to wait for the sacred gate disciples. He didn't expect them to come so soon. Hua Xiaojun and the bailiff's expressions changed drastically when they heard the 2 words sacred gate. They looked very fearful. In this divine land, the people of the sacred gate were the people of the sacred gate, especially the sect leaders of the sacred gate. They were existences that stood above tens of thousands of people. Even the city lords of the 8 major cities were their subordinates. As for this West Town's district magistrate, he didn't even deserve to carry the shoes of the sacred gate disciples. "Oh no! Young Master Qiao, I know why they made you the district magistrate. Let's go, or else you'll be in big trouble." Hua Xiaojun suddenly woke up and pulled Qin Feng to escape. Qin Feng asked, "Why did they make me the district magistrate?" Hua Xiaojun was still a little fearful of Wei Changming, Wang Long, and the others. She suppressed her voice and said, "Now that the distant Ice City and Meteor City are at war, the moment the Holy Gate sends out disciples, they will have to mobilize the bailiffs and officials of the various regions in the city to go to the battlefield. That way Zhengsheng is definitely unwilling to go, so he threw this difficult task to young Master Qiao." Hua Xiaojun wasn't an idiot. She thought of such a faraway matter, and Qin Feng suddenly realized something. However, he wasn't too worried. Although the true qi in his body had yet to recover, with the flying sword in his hand, even if he couldn't defeat the Holy Gate's disciples, escaping with Hua Xiaojun wouldn't be a problem. At this moment, Wei Changming was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. He was subservient to Qin Feng, just for this moment. If he messed things up today, he would definitely kill Qin Feng with his own hands. "What are you mumbling about, you lowly servant? There's no place for you to speak here. Shut up." Wei Changming suddenly flared up. He guessed that Hua Xiaojun was trying to persuade Qin Feng to leave. Hua Xiaojun was so frightened that she immediately shut her mouth. She lowered her head and shivered. Qin Feng walked in front of Wei Changming with large strides, raised his hand, and slapped him twice. "You unfilial son! How dare you behave atrociously toward your father's servant? See if father won't slap your mouth until it's rotten." The 2 dull sounds had already faded away, but Hua Xiaojun, Wang Long, and the others were still in a daze. Wei Changming covered his red and swollen face and stared at Qin Feng in disbelief. No one had ever dared to slap him in his entire life. "You with the surname Qiao, you even dare to hit me? Who do you think you are? Do you believe that I can immediately remove you from your position as the county magistrate with just a word from me?" Wei Changming was truly enraged, and he started scolding Qin Feng. When Hua Xiaojun saw that her master was standing up for her, she was extremely grateful and worried for Qin Feng at the same time. Wang Long, Li Hu, and the others had long found Qin Feng an eyesore. They immediately pulled out half of their cold sabers and surrounded him. As long as Wei Changming gave the order, they would definitely slice this bastard Qin Feng into 2. Faced with such a situation, Qin Feng smiled faintly and said, "You're so capable? Then remove me from my position as the county magistrate. I don't want to do it anymore." Qin Feng already knew what the Wei father and son were thinking, so he wasn't afraid of Wei Changming's threat. However, Wang Long didn't know. He yelled at Qin Feng, "Stinking brat! If you want to remove me, then remove me. Who do you think you are?" "Young Master Wei, this guy is too arrogant. Quickly remove him from his position as the county magistrate, and I will immediately remove him." Wang Long and Li Hu glared at Qin Feng. They were about to attack, but they were stunned by Wei Changming's 2 slaps. "Young Master Wei Yu." The two of them were so angry that they almost killed Wei Changming with their sabers. Wei Changming hadn't finished his official business yet, so he had to let Qin Feng have his way. However, he wasn't afraid of Wang Long and Li Hu. Seeing that they were still unconvinced, he slapped them again. "You still dare to glare at me? Have you grown wings? Do you believe that I won't remove you two from your positions as constables?" The two of them instantly cowered. If they lost their positions as constables, they could only be reduced to bandits. Hua Xiaojun was confused by the sudden change in the situation. Wei Changming suppressed the anger in his heart. After slapping the two of them, he squeezed a smile on his face and moved closer to Qin Feng. "Hee, Magistrate Qiao. I taught those 2 disobedient bastards a lesson. Magistrate Qiao, don't bother with them anymore. It's not good for your noble status. There are esteemed guests waiting for Magistrate Qiao in the main hall. Hurry up and follow me." When Wei Changming got to business, Qin Feng couldn't be bothered to look at him anymore. He pulled Hua Xiaojun into the yamen. After passing through the courtyard, they arrived at the main hall. There were already people sitting on both sides, and they were all warriors dressed in long robes. "Hee, seniors from the Holy Gate. Magistrate Qiao went out to deal with some matters. He is back now. Sorry for the long wait." Wei Changming didn't dare to slight these Holy Gate's disciples. He had heard that these people were true experts. They could take a person's life with a flick of their fingers. If they angered them, they wouldn't even know how they died. Hua Xiaojun had never seen a true Holy Gate's disciple before. The moment she entered the room, her legs trembled. Wang Long, Li Hu, and the other bailiffs didn't even dare to enter the door. They stood in 2 rows at the entrance like 2 stone pillars. Only Qin Feng's expression didn't change. It was as if he didn't see the 2 rows of Holy Gate's disciples. He actually pulled Hua Xiaojun and swaggered to the stone chair at the highest position. Cold sweat appeared on Wei Changming's forehead. He thought that this Qiao guy was an idiot. It was one thing to act cool in front of him, but he still acted so recklessly in front of the Holy Gate seniors. As expected, the expressions of the men and women in the 2 rows below the stage sank. A youth wearing a white robe with a red sun pattern on his chest stood up. "You are the West Town Yamen's magistrate? How awe-inspiring. How dare you put on airs in front of our Holy Gate? Are you tired of living?" The moment this person finished speaking, his body suddenly emitted surging true energy. There was a sudden gust of wind in the great hall, pressuring Wei Changming and the bailiffs at the entrance so much that they couldn't breathe. Hua Xiaojun was so scared that she was about to cry. She secretly grabbed the corner of Qin Feng's clothes. Wei Changming was also so scared that his face turned pale. He quickly stood up and said something good. "Senior, please don't be angry. Qiao, Magistrate Qiao just came back and doesn't know the identity of all the seniors." Then Magistrate Qiao quickly apologized to everyone. Wei Changming kept giving Qin Feng meaningful looks, but Qin Feng acted as if he couldn't see it. His gaze swept across the 2 rows of people below, and his pupils suddenly constricted. Spirit beast sex Ling Yun was actually sitting among them. Not long ago, Qin Feng broke through the formation to enter the Despair Gate, but he was almost killed by Ling Yun in the formation. He swore that the next time he saw this woman, he would make her regret it. He didn't expect to meet her so soon. However, Qin Feng quickly calmed down. Right now he couldn't circulate true energy. If he wanted to kill this woman, he could only use star technology. However, Ling Yun was a stage 4 true Qi expert, so killing her wouldn't be easy. If he didn't kill this woman and exposed his identity, he would be in big trouble. "Stinking brat, are you stupid? Quickly kowtow and admit your mistake." Seeing that Qin Feng didn't respond for a long time, the white-robed man roared again. Wei Changming was angry and afraid. He didn't dare to stand up and say anything else. After Qin Feng came back to his senses, his gaze fell on the Holy Gate disciple. He quickly recognized this person's identity. It turned out that he was a disciple of the Red Sun sect. Not long ago, Qin Feng fought with the Despair Gate on the ocean of Hero City. The Red Sun sect's elder Sun Hung died under his blade. This man in front of him was in his early 30s, and he was only at stage 4 true Qi. How dare he be so arrogant with Qin Feng? The atmosphere instantly froze. Wei Changming and Hua Xiaojun were anxious to death. The Red Sun sect's disciple Sun Dao had run out of patience. Suddenly, he swung his sword and stabbed towards Gao Tang. "Stinking brat, I think you're courting death," Hua Xiaojun cried out in fright. Wei Changming fell to the ground. In everyone's eyes, Qin Feng would die without a doubt under Seeking Dao's sword. As such, the plan that Wei Changming and his father had painstakingly laid out would be destroyed. "Wait, I have a spirit weapon on me." Seeing that the sword was about to pierce his throat, Qin Feng spoke unhurriedly. Sun Dao's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly withdrew his sword. He almost killed Qin Feng. "You have a spirit weapon? Do you know what a spirit weapon is?" Sun Dao said with a cold expression. Even the other Holy Gate's disciples who were sitting below were excited. They stood up and looked at Qin Feng. Wei Changming and the bailiffs didn't know what Qin Feng was planning. Although they hadn't seen a spirit weapon before, they knew it was an extremely rare treasure in the Divine Continent. The Holy Gate disciples fought for it. How could this Qiao guy have such a thing? Wei Changming was about to die from anger. This guy even dared to lie to a Holy Gate senior? At this time, a sword hum sounded in the air. As if he was performing a magic trick, a pink longsword appeared in Qin Feng's hand. The moon's sorrow seemed to flow with a majestic aura. It was the condensation of the moon god's power. Once the sword appeared, the hall became silent. It was as if time had stopped. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.